Dano, what's up with it, bro? Yeah, I gotta speak on it. Definitely gotta speak on it. I appreciate your super chat, man. Said I seen your little continuation. Man, petty as hell. Let me know if you can hear me too, bro. I know I ain't got the mic out today. Know what I'm saying? Appreciate your super chat though, bro. You always showing love.
Get to that money, let's 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 get to that let's get to that money, 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 let's get to that let's get.
The Sousa, Thanos again. I'm outside in the country, man, so I'm gonna be ducking mosquitoes and wasps and all type of shit. My boy Rod, what it do? I know we talking about having a whole different version of this conversation, but I kind of want to kick it off today, man. The Sousa, are you a mod? Did I make you a mod? I don't know. Can I trust you to be a mod, though? That's the question. Can I trust you to be a mod? Let me see. Man, y'all come on in and hit that like button, though. I'm finna get started. Let me pull something up right quick. I'm chilling outside today, man. You hear me? Enjoying myself out here. You're right, D'Souza. I'm glad you said it. I didn't have to say it. All right, so some of y'all might have seen it, some of y'all might not, depending on if you follow the world class. So I was on World Class Show, right? And it wasn't just World Class Show I had this conversation on. I've had this conversation in my real life a lot of times. And I try to be like the buffer or the bridge between the old heads and the young heads and my generation. We generation millennial, right? It's called Generation Y. Didn't learn it till today, but it's a disconnect, right? It's definitely a disconnect between the generations. And when I look at old heads when we had this conversation, you might say you young niggas like he's 70 or something, bro. You like 4 years older than me. Chill out, bro. Get your head back. I listen though, you know what I'm saying? But you know what? I will say this though. Generation Z, they don't listen, and a lot of Generation Millennial don't listen either. Lady in the boy, what's up, baby? How you doing? But it's some truth to that though. There's definitely some truth to that. But I don't think old heads are willing to listen for the most part at all. You know what I'm saying? But I want to play something, and I'm gonna play from World Class clip later. But I want to play something from the Angry Man. And if anybody, you know what I'm saying, know who the Angry Man is and feel that way about me talking about Angry Man, you can go holler at them, tell them to pull up. It ain't no beef, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no shots at them or nothing, but these couple clips that I'm gonna play is illustrate what I'm talking about. But let's just get to it, because I ain't gonna spend all day talking about this shit. I'm gonna show you what's going on, you feel me? So let's go to Angry Man, right? Let's see. So I want to go to this one first.
Boomers will bend over backwards to for us. The boomers didn't have no plan for us. The boomers didn't really do shit. A lot of us were lucky to have our grandparents in our life because our grandparents did a lot for us, right? But the boomers didn't really do shit for us. And that's not me trying to shit on the boomers right now. This is me being honest, right? A lot of us raised ourselves. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of us that are Gen Xers, we had a very short childhood. Very short childhood. Usually for Gen Xer, your childhood stopped at 12. You know, usually for a Gen Xer, as soon as you hit double digits, your childhood is over. Your childhood is done. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, a lot of you millennials and Gen Zs, your children into your 20s. The boomers didn't bend over backwards for us. The boomers didn't have no plan for us. The boomers didn't really do shit. A lot of us were lucky to have our grandparents in our life because our grandparents did a lot for us, right? But the boomers didn't really do shit for us.
All right, so you heard what he had to say about the boomers. Let's talk about the Generation X parents are built different. This is him talking about them being built different.
If you have a parent that's a Gen Xer, we're different.
Mind your business, bro. Mind your motherfucking business.
We are different. Okay? And I don't think y'all really get that.
It's my day off.
Like, I don't think
I'm
y'all
get ready to move out of Memphis.
Like, I don't think you understand.
I'm gonna have me
severity of it. Like, we're different. Like, we're not like y'all. We don't have to be social. We don't have to be social. Like, as a Gen Xer, I could love you to death and never speak to you another day in my life. We're different.
Okay, you heard what he had to say there?
They think that they can hold the parent accountable. This is how fucking backwards they are. They think that they can hold the parent accountable. And it's a weird dynamic because on the one hand, they're always in their emotions, not wanting you to judge them. But the entire time that they're coming at you about judging them, they're judging you. And they don't get it. And the only problem is they don't understand, like, dude, you're the child. You don't get to dictate how I fucking operate. And see, with our parents, right? Our parents, like the boomers didn't bend over backwards for us. They think that they can hold the parent.
I want to play it again. Just keep listening.
This is how fucking backwards they are. They think that they can hold the parent accountable. And it's a weird dynamic because on the one hand, they're always in their emotions, not wanting you to judge them. But the entire time that they're coming at you about judging them, they're judging you. And they don't get it. And the only problem is they don't understand, like, dude, you're the child. You don't get to dictate how I fucking operate. And see,
ooh, here come that son.
With our parent.
All right. So you heard what he had to say, right? Let me pause it. I'm still playing it in the background. Right. So you heard what he had to say. So first he talked about how the boomers didn't do anything for them. They had to get it out the mud. I don't know. Ted's a married man and he just had a birthday and we went to Ted's house last night. And pulled up, man, celebrated him turning 35 years old. We pulled up some drink, had a good time. My boy probably still recovering, you know what I'm saying? So Him and my godson had me tripping last night, bro. My godson was acting a fool last night, bro. But we had a good time. But I think Ted's probably still recovering. I ain't even tell him I was doing this live, so he'll probably pop on for all I know. But you know, my guy handling business, so it is what it is. And I'm off today, so salute. Man. But here's my thing, though. He brought up, Angry Man brought up how the generation baby boomer, right? How they didn't do anything for them, they didn't set them up for success, and they didn't coddle them. That's what they say. That's what he's saying. I've heard him also say that the baby boomer generation was coddled. I'm not gonna speak on the baby boomer generation because I mean I don't know much about it. I didn't even get access to them like that. They were old and decrepit by the time I got to be around them like that. So I don't really speak on it. But what I can speak on is Generation X, right? So he said Generation Millennials or Generation Z, both of those generations, he said that, you know, we basically think we can hold them accountable or we can speak on them in, you know, a way that's constructive. He said we can't. He basically said he don't understand why we can do that. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can't tell you how to be a man, right? You can, you know, that's your opinion, you know what I'm saying? You've been on my man longer, so I don't have a harsh judgment for what he said there. But what I had a problem with is like you're a child, you don't stand in a child's place. And even though he might be talking about his sons, I'm gonna tell you why I take it how I take it. Because I hear that from old heads all the fucking time. I hear it all the time. They feel as if they can't be questioned. They feel as if they can't be challenged. Now, that's the vibe I get from Angry Man and what he said. And this is, like I said, this ain't no shot at him, but I'm gonna address what he said. He basically said we don't have a right, or you know, we can't really speak to what y'all have done wrong. Now, you said your generation, Generation X, the baby boomer generation, basically put you out there and said make it happen. You don't understand that's the same situation for a lot of us Generation Millennials and Generation Z, right? Like, that's a lot of our stories too. Now, I get it. Y'all think we're pampered because we had more than you. What generation doesn't have more than the one before them? We all do. Like technological advancements. We also had things taken away. Like, I'm not sure if the Generation X, I think Generation X did have access to, trades in high school. They took that from my generation. I'm a millennial. They took that from us. So we had to go and spend more money. We had to go spend more money to get an education. You got it in high school for the free ball, for the free 99, my nigga. We ain't had it. But this is not even just about like comparison. I just want to understand why old heads think that their word is just supposed to mean everything because they're older. I don't get that. Because what y'all fail to realize, whatever situation happened with you and our mamas or whatever, aunties, whatever, that ain't got shit to do with us. And when you weren't there for whatever reason, this is not a deadbeat dad conversation, but if you weren't there like you know you should have been, this is not specifically to anybody, this is just for Generation X. If you weren't there like you should have been for whatever reason, you realize we had to deal with the wake of that, right? We had to deal with the sins of our fathers. You do realize that, right? And we were up under the matriarch, mothers, women, dominant, aggressive, masculine women, telling us what we need to do. And I saw a lot of y'all niggas bow down to them. If we want to keep it G. You got to keep it all the way G here. I saw a lot of you Generation X men bow down, kowtow, and kiss ass to that woman. You know what I'm saying? Let me get into some of these comment sections right quick. Shout out to Jenny Morena, J. Ali, funny acting ass. What we know, Rob still in the building. I think they are slightly delusional, bro, because some of the shit they gotta say, it be like, my nigga, you don't know the temperature in the room, bro. Oh Lord. Oh Lord, ladies and boy, what the hell? But right, so let me play this clip one more time because I want to outline it all the way. Let me see.
They think they can hold parent. This is how fucking backwards they are. They think that they can hold the parent accountable. And it's a weird dynamic because on the one hand, they're always in their emotions, not wanting you to judge them. But the entire time that they're coming at you about judging them, they're judging you. And they don't get it. And the only problem is they don't understand, like, dude, you're the child. You don't get to dictate how I fucking operate. And see,
so he said judge
with
hold on, let me pause. He said judge at first. Like he said, you know, we feel as if we can judge them and we can't take judgment for them. You know what I'm saying? From them. But we feel as if we can judge them, but they can't judge us. Right? He said that's our mentality. And sometimes I'm not really understanding who he's talking to, because he might be talking to Generation Z. He might be talking to Generation Z. So, but even with that, the point kind of still stands. Like, why is it that parents believe that they can't be called into question? I'm not talking about a kid. I'm not talking about a kid that ain't done nothing, or a kid that's up under your protection and leadership, and they're not doing anything for themselves. They do need to keep their mouth closed for the most part. But even with the kid, you mean to tell me, see, this whole mentality that kids always got to stay in this kid's place, but when we get put out at 18 or when we living in your house at a certain age, most of y'all, not saying him, but most of y'all want us to pay rent or pay some bills in that bitch. But we also got to shut up too? No, player, that ain't how that gonna go. That's not how that gonna go, partner. Because we got some kind of claiming if we paying bills in that bitch. We got some kind of claiming if you expecting us to do things to keep your house maintained. It's not that we shouldn't listen more than we speak. I agree. We should listen more than we speak, bro. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to old heads, we should definitely listen more than we speak. But old heads, I notice y'all niggas don't want to listen at all. Like, old heads don't want to listen to nothing young dudes got to say. Now, I'm not saying the fucking out of control guy that ain't trying to hear what nobody else got to say. Let's talk about me, because y'all consider me young because I'm only 30. Fine, I'm young. I done did a lot of shit that you old heads ain't done. I took a lot of y'all advice and it got me nowhere. Some of you same old niggas that got so much to say about the boomers or the younger generations, y'all didn't set us up either. And you can say, well, that's your mother's fault. Could be to an extent. Why didn't you do anything to offset it, to balance it? Or did you? Or did it not work? Talk to us, bro, because y'all keep talking to us like we just off the wall with what we got to say. You realize we were raised by women, but then you chastise us for being raised by women, and you want there to be a part of the raising. That don't make sense. But I'm going to let them keep going.
With our parents, right? Our parents, like the boomers didn't bend over backwards for us. They think that they can hold the parent.
So he said we think that we can hold them accountable. We can. Hold on. Shout out to Rube Alvina. What's up with you, love? Glad you made it in. Make sure you hit that like button for me. But he said that we believe we can hold the parents accountable. Why can't we? Somebody gonna have to explain it to me, because I don't get that one. How can we not hold people accountable, period, no matter what their age is? See, and I'm not saying this about Anger Man, because I've listened to a lot of his content, and I've heard him rant about young guys. I heard him go the fuck off about young guys. and then talk about we're the young guys that followed the manosphere, and here we're the guys that are going to benefit from the lessons that they taught in this space, right? What I don't understand about old heads is why y'all feel the need to talk shit. I'm saying, why do y'all feel the need to talk shit? You say you single mother raised as men, and then what be funny about that shit is that y'all have no idea what that's really like. Most of y'all don't, because y'all were the generation that, whether they were in the home or doing for you or not, y'all had more of your fathers. My generation, the millennial generation, nope. Our pops was estranged. They had the mentality of, I'm gonna deal with them when they get older. That's what it is. They told us that, they said that the whole message was, you know what, I can't handle this right now. Mama tripping, which is, I get it, because I kind of been through it. But your mentality was, we'll move on and we'll deal with the child when they get older. But what you didn't understand was, when you had that mentality, you left behind somebody that was getting trained by a woman. Now, this is from a man's perspective. A boy being trained by a woman, whether she's a great woman or not, he's going to be missing shit. And he's missing shit because you weren't there for whatever reason. And it wasn't all because mama wasn't shit, though there are women that were like that. And it wasn't all because man ran away, because some of them did. It's not all of that. But at the end of the day, the end result was you not being enough. Right? So I had to figure shit out on my own. And I'm not even talking about jobs. I'm not even talking about having a hustle, or I'm saying you niggas was learning how to take transmissions out the car with your bare hands at 13 years old and shit. You was building cabins and shit. You was doing all this mechanic work. I know, because my uncle, his uncle did that for him, but he could barely do it. He did some of it. Thank God I had an uncle that could do some of it. But we missed a lot of that. We're the generation that missed that. And you're literally blaming us for missing it. It don't make sense. Let me see what Venus said. It's called shift and blame. Everything is the woman's fault these days. I don't think it's that everything is the woman's fault. I think women are finally starting to hear about their faults publicly. That's what I think is more so what it is. Even though I get you, if you're in this space, you will start to hear this stuff so much you think that that's what it is. But I think it's truly the fact women ain't never heard they fault in this shit. So it's a little different. But I get what you're saying. I ain't gonna knock you for that. But I'm saying Generation X is like looking at us like we just the worst of men. Now, we might be the least masculine. I can probably give you that, especially Generation Z. But it's like, you play a hand in that, right? The woman you chose to have a child with plays a hand in that, right? And a lot of y'all were irresponsible with your dick. Let's keep it G. You was. A lot of y'all was hitting and running up in and shooting up everything you hit. But that's a lie? No, I'm not talking about the guys that did what they were supposed to do. So if you did what you were supposed to do, you can hit the X, bro. You can ignore what I'm saying. But the guys that didn't, you got to sit down and listen, bro. We got the right to criticize y'all because we had to figure shit out. It's like y'all trying to tell. I said this on a podcast we did. Y'all have not walked a mile in our shoes, nor did you buy them motherfuckers. We bought them shoes. A lot of us was helping mama. I was one of them. I was 17 helping my mama pay bills. That was me. You talking about childhood? What childhood? My childhood was done about 14 years old, 12, right around that same age you talking about. We ain't have it like that either, because we were having to be the man of the house, my little man. That was us. We the epitome of being single mother raised. But instead of trying to understand that perspective, trying to, you know what I'm saying, in some way facilitate us into a way of being better men, you want to criticize. And then you want to tell us we don't get it. Like, motherfucker, how we supposed to get it when you wasn't teaching it? You weren't there. This is the reality of the situation. I'm not trying to go to war with you. But the fact is, you don't get to talk that shit when you weren't there. It's like my dad, if he wanted to step in my life and tell me everything I'm supposed to be doing, that's gonna go in this ear and out the other. Cause nigga, I didn't had to do it myself. Like, you old heads really be tripping, man. And I got respect for you. I try to be the goddamn bridge between the youngest and the oldest so we can have a real situation. You feel me? I try to do that because I actually care. We had Charleston White on, right? And he mentioned that the millennial generation and especially the Z is disconnected. Disconnected from what? The truth is, it's on y'all to make that happen. You do understand that. It's on the older generation to bridge that gap and make that connection with the younger generation. It's on y'all. Because y'all were the main ones saying, I'm going to deal with y'all when you get older. But what you realize is a lot of us you can't deal with because we don't respect you. That's the facts. These young niggas don't respect y'all. I only respect y'all because I've had an uncles, older cousins that gave me something to respect. It's hard for me to have respect for my father. Not now, but it was hard for me to have my respect for my father when he wasn't there. That's a hard thing. And you got everybody in our community telling us that black men ain't shit. I'm wearing your sins. The boomer sins. The Generation X sins. We actually are the best fathers statistically. Don't nobody want to talk about that. But we have to wear y'all sins, bro. And we still get a lot of the criticism that black men get today come from older black men. Tell me where I lied at. We get hit with the same old trope. Now I understand. A lot of sisters just told a lot of bullshit or was talking out of their hurt back in them days. I get that. So I'm not here to say you didn't do no right in that time. But you're not finna tell me you didn't do no wrong. You're not finna tell me you're not accountable for what the situation we in today as men. Me as a man, I'm responsible for what I did, what I didn't do. Get all that. My start was on you. The little boy I was and not being right and want to do shit that mama did and not understanding what men do, that's on you. That ain't on me. How the fuck that be on me? How you gonna blame me for being what I was raised to be? A lot of y'all walked away and I understand it. I'm a guy that had to go through child support, fight for custody. But I did it though. A lot of y'all didn't. You know what I'm saying? That's just the facts. I get really tired of you old niggas doing this shit because you want to say we're the most violent and out of control. Let me say this. When it comes to the way I was brought up, right? The only reason I know anything or exhibit any masculine behavior is because of my uncles. My daddy came later. My daddy definitely was an integral part of my life, 15 and up. I damn near had the whole Boys in the Hood, Trade, Furious Styles situation. That was basically me. But at 15, I'm glad I got it, but it was almost too late because I was out of control. I had already shot at somebody before. I had already been shot at. I had already got down with gang. I ain't had that guy. My uncle was a help, but he had his own children. He had his own family to take care of. Let me see. Venus said, this is exactly what happened with my father. Wasn't there most of my childhood. Didn't want to come play daddy as an adult. He's mad I don't respect him. I get that. Especially because my sisters with my daddy, they don't want nothing to do with it. Me as a father going through some of the same things he went through, I have more understanding and compassion for his situation. And I remember what he was trying to do when I was younger. So though I get what you're saying, there are guys, I'm gonna say there are guys that just do that. If you're gonna come back in my life, it's fine. I don't mind fathers wanting to come back in their children's lives and make a difference. You can't come in like you've been the disciplinarian, the teacher, the guidance, the discipline. You have not been there for most of my life. You don't get to come in and just activate that switch. That ain't how they work. If my daddy had came at me like that, I guarantee you we would have bumped heads. We would have fought. Cause I'm a man. I done did shit that you ain't done. I done had children. I done been a husband. So you try to come in my life telling me how I should move other than giving some advice, but not trying to be the domineering person. You can't do that. I can't even let you do that. Cause you don't have that position in my life. You ain't earned that. That's like a nigga coming in the NBA and say I should start automatically because I got drafted. No, nigga. Nigga, LeBron James been here 17 years. You don't get to start over him. Nigga, you better put the work in. That's what it come down to. Now, let's see. Big Mike Drop said, "Where's Mama's accountability?" I spoke on Mama already. I'll speak on it again though. Let's see. Why do children whose fathers died not face the same trouble as children's fathers who leave? Who said they don't? And how old was the child when he died? How old was the child when their father died? Did he have 15 years of that father before he died? Did he have 1 year of that father before he died? That makes a difference, let me tell you, because I had 1 year living with my daddy, changed my whole trajectory of my life. So 1 year can be huge of just having your father consistent versus never having it at all. Right. But I tell you this though, this ain't no hit piece. And I'm not really speaking down on Generation X or baby boomers. But I'm speaking on the shit that y'all don't want to talk about. I'm speaking on the fact that you want to call us the soft, which is true. It's not, I'm not even here, but let me say this. When I talk to my younger cousins, bro, I can't come at them like, y'all niggas weak. Unless I'm finna whoop one of their ass. I can't come at them with that heat. I can't come at them with that heat. I ain't back. You know what? I'll drop the link for you, bro. Because I stand on everything I said. Y'all niggas fucked up too. Facts. Tommy B told you yesterday. Y'all had a higher murder rate than we do. That's a fact. We have more opportunity. True enough. Some of us are squandering it. Some of us taking this shit further than anybody's ever taken. But see, that's what I'm saying. And then it's like y'all want to compare us to y'all, knowing that when we get older, we start going in our financial prime. We still young. We don't even get to be young, bro. Our mama said we were man of the house. At 12, I was man of the house. Y'all got this impression that every dude raised by a single mother was coddled. That's not the case. Most of us was out there bitch cutting grass. Most of us was out there bitch making sure that door locked there at night. She was calling us in the house calling us in her room to clean them bugs. When a dude was trying to go upside her head, they was looking at us to defend her. Y'all don't understand that side of it. You can't come with the heat unless you a man I respect. And I don't mean internet wise. Like I'm gonna be clear. Like I'm not looking for no coach, or no guy that's gonna, teach me how to be better as a man strictly through the internet. I would rather have that person either having phone conversations or first-hand contact. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I would rather have when it comes to dealing with old heads. I would rather be able to look at somebody and hear from somebody and see their life personally if I'm gonna take advice from them seriously. That's just me. But I'm telling y'all, like, people which actually shape this and try to paint this narrative that young boys are just too sensitive. And I'm not saying there aren't some like that, but you would paint this broad brush that the young dudes don't want to listen. But what you don't understand is when we tried to take advice, or when we were trying to listen to old heads, or we were trying to be up under their wing, motherfuckers lashed out at us. Same guys that was in positions at jobs, that was telling us how this shit going. You know what I'm saying? How you can advance and how you gotta open the door for the dude, behind you. When they got in that door, they closed it. Y'all was fucking just like we fucking now. Creating all these babies. More, I might add. Y'all were telling us, you tell us how we're out of control, and there's some truth to that. But what y'all don't seem to understand, bro, is that we not gonna just take you at face value. Because, like y'all say, we're single mother raised. Why were we single mother raised? Where were you? Come on, man. Come on. You gotta keep this shit G. How else are we supposed to be raised when one sex raised us? And then let's not add, we're the generation that is holding bitches accountable. Our technological advancement, the platforms we've created, because it's to 40. A lot of the guys that's in these spaces is right at the 40 range or a little bit older. But 40 is where the cutoff is. 40 is where the cutoff is for millennials. That's mostly who in this space. Speaking of what we dealt with, and when y'all hear it, y'all want to be like, y'all weak. Fine. Why y'all didn't show us another way to be strong? I'm just asking the questions that don't nobody want to ask. Good coaching also requires good communication. Sometimes young people don't listen; they feel disrespected or spoken down to. And I think Big Mike. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me drop the link. I'm gonna drop the link. I don't want to go back and forth on comments. I rather talk. I ain't with the reading comments on certain shit. Some shit we gotta talk. So I dropped it for you, Big Mike, and whoever want to come on. Now I don't know if Millennials, I guess that Generation Z. I'm talking about like Generation Z. Now I don't have much argument for Generation Z. I really don't. They're a different breed. I ain't gonna lie. Generation Z is definitely a different breed. Lord have mercy. Amazon be pissing me off with these packages, bro. Them folks deliver me a package twice with nothing in it. Lord have mercy. All right, Big Mike, I'm waiting on you, B-Dog. But like I was saying, make sure y'all hit that like button when y'all come in too, man. Don't be treating me like a little freak, y'all. X and Millennials. Okay. Well, I'm only talking about the people out here talking. You know what I'm saying? And, the generation baby boomers were said to be the most masculine men. Well, actually, it was Generation X that was said to be the most masculine men when hip-hop was thriving. When rap actually, it wasn't rap, it was hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? That's supposed to be the most masculine generation of men. And I don't disagree. Like, I understand Generation X is more handy. They're better at problem solving to a degree. And we are a softer man. I don't deny it. That's one thing about me. I keep it real. We're not the optimum man. We're not the best man. To me, it ain't even about who's the best. We got a disconnect. And to me, it seems like the gap is growing further and further apart. But let me bring my guy, Big Mike Drop. He pulled up, so let me bring him up. Big Dog, what up? What up?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Out here enjoying this sun, man. You hear me?
Man, good, man. It is a beautiful day. I'm sure you in Tennessee, so yes, I'm sure the weather's similar to what it is here in Georgia.
Yeah. What's up, though?
Hey, man, nothing much, man. I'm so glad you came on with this, man, because I was actually talking to Noble earlier today, and something was on my spirit about that conversation we had yesterday.
Yeah.
I wanted to finish it with you because I feel like it's important. I actually did a Twitter space right after that, asking are old niggas really haters?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm glad I was able to link up with you today and have this conversation, because you make a lot of valid points. And I find myself speaking for old niggas, but I'm 44 years old. So I'm what you would consider a Zennial. I'm not Generation X. I'm not millennial. I'm a Zennial. So the definition is marked by having an analog childhood and a digital adulthood. So with that position comes having a healthy respect for baby boomers, because a lot of baby boomers were our uncles, you know what I'm saying? Our great uncles, some of our parents. So those people really put a lot of time in with me on my end. But I did have to think about some things and honestly ask the question, are old niggas really haters of younger individuals?
Mm-hmm.
And I came up with this. Old niggas can be better mentors. Yes, they can. But I think the youth has to understand that there are rules to being a pupil. You have to be a good mentee as well. You can't just be all off the charts and expect somebody to reel you in. Mm-hmm. And I get a lot of that from a lot of younger guys, as if somehow we need to force them to come into the fold and be under the tutelage of an older man who wants to see younger men survive. And no, we don't. You know what I mean? That's the problem. I'm not going to fight with you to make you better.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we get a lot of pushback, you know what I mean, when we try to mentor these young dudes, because it comes across as if they want to lead us.
Okay.
And that's not going to work. You can't jump the chain of command, period.
So let me ask you this, because I get what you're saying, like, because I've had these conversations with my uncles and my pops too. And what I think it is, and you can just tell me what you think about it. I think it's the fact that, like, I'm uncle now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not little CJ running around getting in trouble. Like, I'm somebody's mentor now. You know what I'm saying? But I still, I became that by default. Like, I had to do it because wasn't nobody else doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't actually have the best training or the best leadership to teach me how to do it for the next generation. So I think maybe you think it's our ego or pride that clashes when we try to have these situations be better. Is that would you think that what it is?
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit like I said, when you grow up in a society like the millennials and the Zennials have, or some of the Zennials and the millennials have. I mean, millennials and Generation Z, I'm sorry. Millennials and Generation Z. You grew up with social media. You know, there's kids out here who are in their 20s now who weren't even born when the towers came down.
Right.
So it's hard to even get somebody to understand your perspective as far as what you've seen, you know, as far as calamity, tragedy, or just what you've been through, period. Especially in a world where social media makes everything look perfect. So in a lot of situations, the younger generation does not want to be seen as wrong. If you tell them they're wrong, them niggas ready to shoot. Like, if you see some kids out doing something, man, I'm in Atlanta. You can't tell these kids nothing if you see these kids doing something, even though you're doing it from a place of love. I don't want to see y'all niggas get in trouble. I don't want to see y'all get killed. I'm tired of seeing the prisons fill up. But as soon as you say something to them, you find yourself perhaps in a confrontation. And they don't do confrontation well. You know, little things erupt into shootings because nobody wants to be wrong.
Yeah.
We didn't have a problem getting our asses whooped. We did have a problem with it, but overall, we didn't have a problem with it. We were just going to come back and fight you again until we won.
Right.
You see what I mean? So I think social media and the society has a lot to do with why people are so embarrassed when they make a mistake or they're doing wrong. Why are you so embarrassed?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I mean, we can goddamn break this down to LeBron and Jordan. It's almost like that. It's like the path that Jordan had to take was, from your generation's perspective, tougher. And then when our generation says, well, true enough, our generation isn't as physical as yours, but we're more skilled. You have guys that are 7-footers that can do what Michael Jordan was doing at 7 foot. So it's a perspective that you have that we don't. And I can understand your perspective, but it's like, I mean, Sean Kemp. Go ahead.
I just think it's more so about respecting the perspective. Respecting that we do have a perspective, and that our perspective is legitimate. You know what I mean? And maybe you can learn something from our perspective.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Do you think that the reason your perspective isn't heard or respected enough is because for most of our lives we haven't heard it?
I mean, I get that, but as a person that's just new to your life or somebody's life that I might just meet, I have nothing to do with that. So as a man, my time is very valuable. So if I feel like I'm gonna waste time with you, talking to you about something I can't do anything about, I can't do anything about you being raised without that, or the next gentleman being raised without that. But I still have an obligation to tell you what's right, I feel.
Yeah.
And if I tell you what's right and you reject it, hey, I'll move on. There's somebody out there that's thirsty and hungry for that message, that wants that message. That's what I'll save my breath for.
Yeah.
A lot of your older guys say they don't want to waste time with the younger guys, man. And I hate to say it, they don't want to argue. They don't want to have to defend their position, because we lived a life that was handed to us just like y'all are living the life that's handed to y'all.
Right. Yeah. Did you see the Angry Man clip I played?
I didn't. I just got Noble just hit me up and let me know you were on, so I was able to get on. I was just getting off work.
Let me show you this clip. It's actually like 2 or 3 of them, but they shorts.
Okay.
They think that they can hold parents. This is how fucking backwards they are. They think that they can hold the parent accountable. And it's a weird dynamic, because on the one hand, they're always in their emotions, not wanting you to judge them. But the entire time that they're coming at you about judging them, they're judging you. And they don't get it. And the only problem is they don't understand, like, dude, you're the child. You don't get to dictate how I fucking operate. And see, with our parents, right? Our parents, like the boomers didn't bend over backwards for us.
Hold on, I can't hear you just yet, CJ.
My bad, I was on mute. I said, I'm gonna play another one, but what'd you think about what he just said? I think he was talking about more Generation Z, but just your take, period.
It's a lot of truth to that. It's a lot of truth to that. The way we were raised, and he seems to be in my age bracket, we were literally raised with the children of to be seen and not heard shit. We were raised by older people. So young people bucking up against older people wasn't really a thing that we did. That wasn't something that was acceptable, period. You didn't back talk, you didn't question.
Right.
Because I grew up in a time when anybody in the neighborhood could whip my ass.
Right.
And my mama wasn't gonna do anything about it. She wasn't getting ready to go over and fight. We got whipped at school, we got paddled, we got all that shit. My mama wasn't down there trying to fight teachers. You see what I mean? So a lot of these younger generation mothers, because they wind up with the kids most of the time,
right?
They don't want to be wrong either. And a lot of times people over-index in defending a position that they know is indefensible. If you know you haven't raised your kids right, if you know you haven't given your kids home training, like we like to call it down south, don't be mad when somebody check the motherfucker.
Right.
Now you got to fight mamas. You don't see daddies fighting in the street over children. And it's not because dads don't care. Dads aren't that emotionally invested in what a child has to say. They're
You
just
know,
not.
I want to be clear. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really believe I need to like come up with a name for this shit. I think I'm like the bridge between older and younger. Like, cause I understand both sides of it because I don't know. I feel like you know how they talk about point guards that ain't point guards, they shooting guards, they like tweeners.
Yeah.
I feel like a tweener because I was born in '92, so I got paddled by my principal. Everybody in the neighborhood could whip my ass. We fought till somebody said I don't want to fight no more. We played football in the street. We played football in like I still was a part of that generation where nigga we going across the whole city on bikes to go play ball. You know what I'm saying? So like I got some of that, and then I look at my younger cousins where it's like 96 and back or further down. They don't seem to understand what I seem to understand. It's just like it's natural to me. So I do understand that this younger, especially Generation Z, they don't get it. I can even with millennials, like I can get that we are sensitive. You know what I'm saying? We are sensitive because we're not used to men being men all the way, and it's a sad thing, but that's the reality. So when I hear what Anchorman is saying, I understand it. But my thing is this: we had a lot of men from the Generation X camp that said, "Well, I can't deal with your mother, so I'll deal with you when you get older." But what they didn't understand was, while you're gone, her word is king, her word is law. So when you come back into my life, you don't get to come back as this developed man that you are, which you've earned. But to me, you just a nigga that ain't been here.
Right, and that's when you got to understand who you were living with. That's what I'm saying. You got to understand that your mother was the fucking problem. Not you, but I'm just saying.
No, I got you.
Situations, the mother was the damn problem. And no man that wants to stay free is going to stay around a chaotic woman. And if a woman is raising children like this, who have these type of feelings, she's chaotic. So, and a lot of times, younger dudes don't understand their fathers until they go through it because they make the same mistake.
Yep.
Now you're getting with a chick that's way more chaotic than even the mothers were.
Right.
Because now you got all types of shit going on. You know what I'm saying? In these women's minds. By the time a woman makes 20 years old, she's probably literally mentally ill in today's world.
Yeah.
And it used to be, it took till 30 back in our mother's days. You know what I'm saying? It took till 40 back in our mother's day, in our grandmother's days, to get to that point of being fed up to where you just snap.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
To your point, that's how it was for me. Now I had my mom. Basically, I got caught at school with some weed. I got kicked out of school for skipping, and my mama was like, "I don't know what this nigga is doing no more. I can't control him," which she never really could control me. So she sent me with my pops, and I always say that 1 year living with my dad as a 15-year-old was the biggest additive to my life as far as becoming a man. It was huge, right? So I agree with you that when we go through things, we start to understand our fathers more. I had to understand it, but when I actually had a child and was married and tried to do what he didn't do, before I married her, he said, "Son, don't marry her." And I wasn't trying to hear that shit. And the reason I wasn't trying to hear that shit was, nigga, you ain't never married nobody. And look at the hell you deal with. You know what I'm saying? You got 3-4 baby mamas. You fighting for us, and you're not able to see us like that. You going through hell. So I'm like, well, the opposite. Maybe if I marry this woman and do what I'm supposed to do as a father and a man, I'll get a different outcome. Well, life happened, and I realized he was right. But also, my mother, my grandmother were pushing me to marry this woman, right?
Right.
And when I got divorced and went through, I had real breakdowns not being able to see my child, right? And that's when they finally was telling me, she's just doing what I did to your daddy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I agree with you there.
Man, look, I did the same thing. I almost followed the same path. I married my son's mother at 22 years old. She was 20, 21. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We had our son. And I mean, literally, she did everything she could do to keep him away from me after we broke up. I mean, look, I'm not going to put up with your bullshit. just because I got a kid from you. I wasn't raised that way. I tried to do the right thing. I tried to make the right steps. But yeah, I went through the exact same thing that you're talking about, trying to do it the right way, kind of bucking against my pops.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Dad, you don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? You ain't do what I did, you know, and taking a position as if I'm his leader. I stepped in front of him, and guess what he did? What most men gonna do, that you step in front of. But when I came back, I didn't blame him for not reeling me in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody's a man out here. That's part of being a man, is you're gonna have to assume risks.
Is that what you think we're doing?
I think this generation has a problem, and you know, I guess maybe your generation, because you've probably lived enough life right now. You're 30, 32?
I just turned 30.
You just turned 30. Yeah. So, you know, my brother's 33. So I'm watching him go through it right now. So he's getting to the point, and you're getting to the point where you've lived enough life to see, and your feelings will start changing. By the time you get 36, 37, your feelings will change. You know what I mean? Because when you go through things, you're not always able to avoid the risk. And I think this younger generation doesn't want to take risks. They want everything guaranteed. That's another thing that comes from the mamas. See, a mama can get guaranteed food. A mama can get guaranteed money a month. A mother can get guaranteed housing. She can get all these guarantees and everything written in stone, in which she does not have to take any risk.
Do you think some of that, though? Do you think some of that not wanting to take risk or not wanting to put ourselves out there is because we've seen the results of some of our fathers?
I mean, yeah, it is.
Because that's what scared me, bro. Like I battle with it, and I do this to this day, where I got one child, right? But I want more children, but I don't want to end up being my dad. Now, I could have 4 wives, and he had 4 baby mamas. To me, honestly, it's not much different. You know what I'm saying? But that's one thing I'm fearful of, and it's like, there is a risk. I'm not saying there's no risk. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be no risk, but I think a lot of us feel as if trying to do what you did or going the route you did is going to lead us bad results, because we haven't seen, like from my position, most of us haven't seen good results from Generation X men or baby boomer men. It's really a beat. I see a lot of defeated men.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot of defeated men, but there's also a lot of successful men too. So, you know, a lot of that depends on where you're looking.
Right.
I talked about that on the Twitter space last night. It's also on y'all to source good mentors.
Yeah.
You know, you can't walk up to a dude that's working at the damn mill for 30 years and talk to him about your business idea. He's not going to get it. He's not. Right. He's not going to offer you the support that you need. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of guys have very limited access to men that they really need to be talking to. So you got to kind of get outside of that circle. You can't walk up to a 60-year-old with his pants sagging down and his hat cocked to the side that's trying to fuck the same girls you trying to fuck. You're his competition. So he's not going to give you good advice. Like when younger dudes approach a real man, they're supposed to tell he's a man and his age by the way he's dressed, by the way he presents himself, all the way down to it. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of something that we can do better, is we can stop going for y'all's trends and start presenting ourselves the way we need to be presented.
So
go ahead.
Were you with Kevin Samuel's message about more older men wearing suits and dressing like, you know, men per se? Did you see that whole? Because that was a good indication too. You know, when he had that one back and forth with that young dude, I think that was a great example of what I'm talking about today. Like, true enough, the elder statesman and the more successful man seemed to be Kevin Samuel. But what I think went wrong was when that young man, I might pull it up, but when that young man was just trying to state his perspectives, Kevin was just not trying to hear it at all, to where he didn't even get what he was trying to push back on. He said, I'm the older statesman. You young niggas basically don't say nothing. That was how I took it.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
Okay.
If you get under the tutelage of anybody, man, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that's willing to go out on a limb and teach you. Do you think Alabama players could say anything to Nick Saban?
No.
Right. You don't care about their perspective. because what I'm trying to do is pull you into a system.
Mm-hmm.
Your perspective really doesn't matter if you want to be a part of this system. I will teach
Right.
you how to get into this system. Then you can deal with your perspective later down the road. It's not saying that you're not important, but when you take on the role of a mentor, you have to take on a role of authority. And being the authority, it's like, and that's that women shit, that wanting to plead your case and wanting everybody to understand where you're from. You're not approaching this man for empathy. You're approaching this man to give you a good word so you can get forward down the road.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys would do that if they didn't have to try to tap into some empathetic part that doesn't exist. You know what I mean? So I understand the young guys take it as disrespect, but like I said, I think your skin got to be a little bit thicker in order to make it through this world. I mean, the dudes that taught me, they didn't pull any punches with me. You know what I mean? They didn't hold back on me. I've been told all types of shit. I've been talked about, dogged out, embarrassed, got played. Man, I had these dudes, man, and my wife in here, I can tell you this. So I had these dudes, man, that took me under their wing when I got in the military. You know, this guy I couldn't get a girl at the time. I don't know why. It's been like 6 months, since I had been with a chick, whatever.
Right.
So I just couldn't make anything pop with these girls, right? So one of the older guys, man, he wound up meeting these chicks, and the girl had a home girl, and he kind of put the home girl on me. He introduced me to her. She started coming up to the room,
right,
hanging out with me. So one night I made a mistake and told him something about her that I kind of really didn't like her. Next thing so when they came back over, she was in the room. He was fucking. You see what I'm saying? I felt played. I was mad. I was upset. I felt disrespected. But when he told me why he did what he did, it made sense. Never tell anybody that you feel one way when you really don't. Don't try to look a certain way in front of me by telling me something. You told me you ain't want them.
I did that. I'd been through that shit.
I fucked. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even be mad at him.
Right. Because you realized you was being illogical.
I was being totally illogical.
Yeah.
That was a tough lesson to learn.
Tough one.
You know what I'm saying? That's one of the lessons now that'll get you shot if you try to teach a young kid that shit.
That shit. Yeah. Because that emotion gonna be out of control.
Out of control.
Yeah.
You're either gonna have to do something to him, which you probably don't want to, or he's gonna do something to you.
Right.
Before he even understands the lesson.
Right.
So, when you're dealing with, guys that are very sensitive, and I'm not using that as a bad word.
Yeah.
I just think that the world in itself is more sensitive. So this is the world that these guys are raised in. So naturally, they're going to be more sensitive, more offended by rejection. You know what I'm saying? Things like that.
But this is not a but, because I just have to say but to stop it, I guess. But I don't mean but like,
gotcha.
I hear you, and this is what I'm trying to figure out. And I've kind of figured it out for myself for the most part, but I'm trying to get how I can get the two sensitive guys to realize what you're saying, because you're right in the fact that we are very sensitive to criticism. I mean, you see it in these spaces all the time, but the fact is we are that because of how we were raised. So it's like, if we are that, I mean, is there a fucking boot camp you can go to break you of that? Because it doesn't seem like it's gonna change. Is my thing.
No, I don't know if it's gonna change, CJ. And that's just to be honest, because the writing's kind of on the wall right now. Right now, we're just trying to go save who we can save. We're trying to, get enough of the younger generation to groom to take us into the future generations. But the way these young guys are crashing out, man, it's kind of hard to reach out and want to save everybody. Everybody can't go everywhere you're going, and so that's going to be the hard part about it. Not saying it's impossible. It's just very difficult and time consuming.
So I titled it "What Generation X and Baby Boomers Don't Understand About Generation Z and Generation Y, aka the Millennials." And from what I'm hearing you, it's not that you don't understand it. It's just that we don't really have a solution for the masses. We only got a solution for the men that want different.
Right. That's really all we got, brother. Like we gotta get the ones that are like-minded. Not saying everybody got to be in lockstep agreement. We're not a cult, but we need the gentleman that can be worked with. We need the potential. Like a coach doesn't work with every player on the team the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You ever notice coaches will see something in certain players and they'll keep them after practice and work on other things and maybe put them on other game and show them other things. I mean, it all works. It's all been working the same way. There's a hierarchy, and I think that the younger generation is looking for egalitarianism, and everything isn't equal.
Yeah, I see that. I see that a lot. Even when guys are making points, and I used to do it, so I'm not trying to shit on them, but even when we making points when we talking to women, I realize more and more how weak of a position that we have, because we'll be like, well, women get to do this and women get to do that, and when it's on me, I don't get to. And it's like, are you a leader or not? Like, are you a man or not? And that's a big pill for people to swallow, because it's like we've been raised in the you're equal. I'm actually pushing back against it, and I find myself having to stop myself from having those metaphoric conversations and just dealing with what's going on. It's a hell of a battle, man, even for the ones that want better. And I think having conversations like this is dope, because, bro, I'm telling you, a lot of us don't get it. A lot of us don't get it. But let me bring on my guy Ted.
A lot of guys can go to.
Before you do that, hold on.
All right, go ahead.
Let me bring on my guy. Ted, what's up, my boy?
CJ, what's going on with you, bro?
Can't call it, man. Just had a random live, wanted to cook up right quick.
Yeah, man. I was out with my boy, man. He had to go. He, going through a little speech therapy.
Yeah.
So we just left there. And man, I seen the live, I seen the conversation, and bro, I thought I could bring a different perspective to the conversation. Okay. Also as well, Big Mike Drop, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I don't know if you know me or not, but I'm one of the co-hosts on the 5100 podcast. But I know you. I done seen a few of your episodes before. Like I said, I seen your introduction with O'Shea. I don't know how that went, but that's how I was introduced to you.
Okay, then. Cool.
But back to the subject. Like I grew up with my father. And a lot of stuff that y'all are saying, it kind of that bridge in the middle with me, which is when I was younger, like Big Mike said, respect wasn't a thing. I was a child. You don't question me. You don't ask me nothing. You do what I tell you to do. And with CJ, what he was saying was, for me, that upset me, because it's like, man, I should have an opinion. It's like, you don't even know why you have an opinion yet. So as I got older, and I started having responsibilities like bills and a child and a wife, now me and my dad talk like comrades instead of father and son.
Right.
So now he tells me about those times that he couldn't tell me about when I was younger, because he felt like I would look at him different and I wouldn't receive his message the same.
And you wouldn't have.
I would not have. You are correct. Right. Because if I knew my father was a drug addict, which he wasn't, I'm just making an example. But if I knew he was all of these things, the message wouldn't hit the same. Mm-hmm. But now that he has shown, brother, yeah, I had weaknesses too. I did some of the same dumb stuff y'all do now. It's just the lessons that I learned going through that, I needed to pass it to you so you wouldn't do. And I had to present myself as that guy. And having that mindset now, I completely understand it. Like, even part of me now, I still have some resentment toward it. Like Big Mike said, I don't think there's no way around that. That's just us. Right. And this was a man that was there my whole life, but I was upset that he didn't come to my band events. I was upset that he didn't come to my plays. But then this man worked all the time. So it's like, I guess with me, I try to be, like CJ said, I'm trying to be that gap where the thing that my father fell short on, I want to be there. That's part of the reason why we create these podcasts, is because we want to have financial freedom to where if my son said, Dad, I got a baseball game at this, and this time, can you be there? It's yes. it ain't well, babe, I gotta work. I ain't gonna be able to do it. And then he grows that resentment. So great conversation. Like I said, I can see both sides. I can see CJ's side. I can see your side because I was kind of in the middle. Like I was right there, and I'm 35, Big Mike. So
Okay.
you know, I just turned 35 Friday. So
Happy belated birthday, brother.
yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I was definitely in that range of both.
Yeah.
But just like CJ said, bro, I got the paddlings. You know, I seen these sides. So it's like when we had these conversations, and Big Mike, I gotta give you a shout out because you don't know how hard it is to have conversations with some older men.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's even though you and CJ might not agree, and even though me and you might not agree on everything, we can have a conversation. It's some older men you can't even talk to because before you get 2 words out, man, shut up, young buck. You don't know what you talking about. It's like you ain't even heard me out yet. Like you don't even know what the problem is. And now that I'm an adult, you can't talk to me like I'm 16 or 15 no more.
Right. I want to get this in. Big Mike was talking about a class or something that could make a difference. You were about to say something like that. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was saying it's prison. That's why a lot of these young bucks go to prison, and when they get out, they somehow understand everything you've been trying to tell them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? This isn't something I'm thinking I know. This is part of my life. I know this. I haven't been to prison, but I got very close relatives that have been to prison. And when they get out of prison, they come back to you telling you everything that you were arguing them down about before they even went to prison.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, that's very frustrating because you don't want to see brothers go through this. You shouldn't have to be traumatized to get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But no lesson like a bought lesson.
So what if, I forgot who, maybe Ms. Mandrell. Do y'all think that if we instituted this mentality in our community that our younger men have to go to FOI, go through the FOI program or go through some kind of military training or base, you know what I'm saying? Do you think that would help our community more if we instill more of that in our community?
I'm a firm believer that everybody's gonna find that one thing that's gonna make them a better man. You know what I'm saying? If it's the FOI, if it's the military, if it's the police force, if it's the fire department, whatever it is, every man is on a quest. Every young man is on a quest, and he's gonna have to walk that path. He's gonna find that thing that's gonna tether him. That's what I call being tethered to something besides yourself and besides your mama. You know what I mean? So when you go out here and you stake your own claim, you'll find out what you're gonna be tethered to, and that could be, like I say, more science. That could be Islam. That could be. It might not even be a religion. It might be a certain skill set. It might be a job, anything. But I feel like every man needs to find that one thing.
Let me play. Go ahead, Tay. I'm gonna play this second clip though.
Okay,
right.
and I was just gonna go with Big Mike, and that's one of the things you mentioned, the tether. But I can and me and CJ talked about having younger brothers on that Gen Z era. And one of the things that the conversations I done had with them is, after one failure is over with, they feel like, man, I tried.
Yep.
Now I got to go back to doing what I do. And it's like, brother, you ain't even tried for real. Like, bro, one failure is enough for them to completely be like the thing that. Let's just take religion for example. No matter what you believe, you got to have some type of dedication to something. Whether it's no ham, no pork, whether it's no cursing, whatever it is, whatever you have to be tethered to. They cuss one time or they eat ham once and they quit. It's like, brother, that's the whole point of this battle. You gonna fall, you have to get back up. That's why I have so much resentment for black pillars, for incels. Because those are guys that been rejected and they quit. Brother, rejection part of the game. That's like peanut butter and jelly. You gonna get one. That's part of it. The sandwich don't even go together without both of them. So rejection is part of the yes. It's part of the exhilaration when you get there. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So that's one of the things that the conversation that I didn't have with young brothers. If they don't see the results now, "Oh man, it ain't working." It's like, "No, brother, you gotta."
Mike mentioned that earlier.
Yep.
But
Mike
you know something? If you understand money and you like money, because a lot of those young guys like money, I would suggest that these guys go into sales, because sales teaches you about rejection. The more you get rejected, that means you're actually doing the right thing in sales, because you're actually talking to people. You're actually pitching a product to people. So, I strive to get rejected 10 times a day, because I'm a salesman. I want to get rejected 10 times a day, because guess what? If I get the no 10 times a day, that means I've talked to 20 or 30 people. You see what I'm saying? And that means I've gotten some yeses. You have to actually put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
And that's hard. It's hard to get a guy that you have to kick him in his ass and drag him to the finish line. You just rather leave.
Yep.
So, Charles, you there? If you are, you on mute.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
What you got to say before I play this clip, bro? What's up with you, my guy? You good?
My boy.
I'm good, man. Y'all doing good.
Yeah, we straight.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, man. All right. But the Gen X, that those type of generations, I'm kind of new to the Gen X and all that.
So Gen X is I think it's 41 to. I just had it pulled up. Hold on. It's 41 to 50.
I think Gen X is anybody born before 1976. 1976 and before is Gen X.
Okay, so then that's my dad then. Okay. So really with me, I know like with my dad, he taught me a lot of things growing up and taught me the mentality to never give up and always put your best foot forward. So it's almost like I had the same mentality now after him telling me over the years, and I'm 32 now. So it's like I see everything that he taught me, and now I apply it to my own self in the way I teach my daughters now. But only thing different is with my daughters, they're small, so it's kind of like I'm using a mentality of I'm breaking it down to them each and every day why this had to be done, why this. And then with my other two kids, it's like the same thing too. It's like I'm constantly telling them, but they always have a reaction of why this.
Right.
And it's almost like every time I say something, you gotta have a comeback, or you had to have a question of why. No, you shouldn't always have to have a question of why. Just sit back and watch and see. That's where I was taught, watch and see.
Here's my thing. Because I understand that, but I tell my daughter why. Now, not everything. Some shit like is beyond her scope of understanding.
Right.
But I do try to. We got my guy JT from What We Know podcast. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, Pimpin'?
What up?
What up, though, Mike?
Hey, cool. How you doing?
I'm all right, bro. Chilling.
Right.
I'm just listening, dropping in for just a minute, man, just to hear what you guys talking about.
Yes, sir. Let me. I'm gonna get you back, y'all. But hold on. Let me play this clip because there's a couple of them I want y'all to see. I played one. I'm gonna play it over again because y'all just got here. But let me show you this. This first one is baby boomers didn't do anything for Generation X.
The boomers didn't bend over backwards for us. The boomers didn't have no plan for us. The boomers didn't really do shit. A lot of us were lucky to have our grandparents in our life because our grandparents did a lot for us, right? But the boomers didn't really do shit for us. And that's not me trying to shit on the boomers right now. This is me being honest, right? A lot of us raised ourselves. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of us that are Gen Xers, we had a very short childhood. Very short childhood. Usually for Gen Xer, your childhood stopped at 12. You know, usually for a Gen Xer, as soon as you hit double digits, your childhood is over. Your childhood is done. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, a lot of you millennials and Gen Zs, your children into your 20s. The boomers didn't bend over backwards for us. The boomers didn't have no plan for us. The boomers.
Okay.
JT, so when you hear that, what do you think, bro?
For the most part, I don't think he's. I don't think it's cap. I think for a lot of my generation, that stands true. Stands true because I have a lot of cousins, man, that they got all of their wisdom and they got a lot of things that they learned when they went to prison. You know what I'm saying? So when they went to prison, they read books, they got their GED. Some of them got associates, bachelors. They came out a little bit different, and I was fortunate myself to have my father and my mom, not only just in my life, but to be able to rear me to be a productive young man. But that wasn't what I can say about a lot of guys, a lot of my counterparts. When I went to high school and shoot, elementary all the way to high school was in the inner city. So I seen some real terrible situations, man. A lot of my counterparts, man, by the time they was 14, they was taking care of themselves. When I was in high school, a lot of my counterparts, they were living in apartments with their homeboys in high school. 10th grade, 9th grade, all the way, it was what it was. And it was one of the reasons why it was because we had a lot of our parents was on drugs, specifically crack.
Right.
So it ain't like he's telling a lie.
Mhm.
Not at all. So I kind of agree with him.
Okay. Let me play this one. My job. You saw that one I played already. You already responded to that.
Yeah, I responded to that one.
Okay, so this one here. Well, you didn't respond to the one I just played. So what do you think about what he said?
I mean, I'm thinking that I agree with him on some of those points. Maybe not all of them,
Mhm.
but I will say this: we were in a rush to be grown ups in my generation. Generation X, we were the latchkey children. We were the first kids that had $100 tennis shoes. You know what I mean? We're the first kids whose parents had to work 24/7 just to provide for us. So we had a level of independence that maybe other generations didn't have before us.
Mhm.
So we were in a hurry to grow up. That's why so many of us took to the crack hustle. You see what I mean? Because we were already in that mindset.
It was opportunity.
Yeah, because everybody that sold crack didn't sell crack so they could eat. You know what I mean? People try to say, I was just trying to feed my family. Those literally people that had moms and dads, you know what I'm saying, in the suburbs selling damn crack, bro. Like it was a lot of them. So yeah, I do agree with that aspect of it.
Okay, I'm gonna play the next one because I'm going somewhere with it. Just rock with me, gentlemen. I'm going somewhere with it.
Yeah, let's go.
They think that they can hold the parent accountable.
I believe he's talking about more Generation Z because he's a father, and I've heard him talk about his son in some ways, not negatively per se, but I know this all spawned off the 50 Cent and his son conversation, so that's where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
Dude, this is how fucking backwards they are. They think that they can hold the parent accountable. And it's a weird dynamic because on the one hand, they're always in their emotions, not wanting you to judge them. But the entire time that they're coming at you about judging them, they're judging you. And they don't get it. And the only problem is they don't understand, like, dude, you're the child. You don't get to dictate how I fucking operate. And see,
I thought it was funny that when he first came on, he was talking about judgment, right? He said basically my generation or Generation Z or both feel as if that we can judge the older guys and we're also feeling that we shouldn't be judged, which I think is some truth to that for sure. But then he goes to dictating. Now, I don't even understand why he feels as if because we have an opinion about something, we're trying to dictate it. Am I missing something, or y'all kind of hearing that?
Y'all argue your opinion,
Yeah.
and a lot of times younger dudes will miss out on a blessing because literally, I'm not gonna argue with you about something that you think if I'm trying to give you this game. If I'm trying to put you on game, I'm not gonna spend time arguing with you. That's what we do with women. So a lot of times dudes will just dismiss it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to be out here trying to argue with a man to make him better. Sometimes you just got to take the advice and roll with it. You got to take it how somebody give it to you. You can't determine how you get it. It's like taking medicine. You don't have any determination on how that medicine tastes. You just either you need it or you don't. You know what I mean?
So that's what he was saying. It's kind of like we're not on the same playing field. It's kind of like, especially when you're talking about your own child, you are because of me. I'm not because of you. It's a pecking order that comes from it. So this is the thing. Of course, you can see what's right and wrong, generally. But when it comes down to parenting, that is a very sticky situation, especially when you got your dad in your life. Because what may feel bad to you and what you may think is wrong, it may be good for you. One of the things my father taught me was life is just ain't fair. And he made sure that life wasn't fair in the little bubble I was in. So even though, a lot of times I was upset with him because he told me I couldn't do certain things. If I wanted to get some money for something, he used to question me about, what do you need the money for? And then he'd say, didn't I just give you $50? And then what he'd do is make me think. And he'd just tell me, I'm not giving you no more money. You just gonna have to rough it out. Even though I know he had my back, I was upset at the time as a kid, but now as an adult, I understood what that lesson was. You have to save your money. You better quit living above your means. It was a whole lot of things that he did. It was one time that I was supposed to be going to a young lady's prom. I didn't have the right grades. You know what I'm saying? And my father said, didn't I tell you if your grades weren't right, you wasn't going to nobody's prom? I had got the tux. I had paid the money for the rental car, all of that. And he said, you can't go. My mother was looking like, buddy, we already put this money down. He said, I don't care.
Stop right there. You said the mom, and this is not a shot at your mama or any women, because I understand it.
She didn't do it in front of me now.
No, I'm just saying, even with that, because it might have happened behind the scenes where you didn't see it, but I've had that same sort of thing kind of happen in front of me. So regardless, it kind of speaks to the mentality of the woman. So what I'm getting at is what you're teaching, well, what you were getting taught, we were getting the opposite. My generation and younger, generation millennial and Z and all that good stuff.
Right.
We were getting that different option of hearing our mama. Like I remember, and I ain't gonna be too long, but I had got into it with a dude, never forget, dude named Mike Austin, right? Was talking shit on the bus. So I was like maybe 11, and I didn't want to fight him. So I went to the crib. When I got off the bus, went to the crib, told my mama what happened. And she wanted to go chase this boy down and tell his parents. And it was, even at 11, I was like, this shit don't feel right. I feel like I might have was supposed to fight him even though I was scared. So I told my uncle about the situation, and he whooped my ass because I ran from the situation and I was scared to handle my business. But that's the whole divide. And this is what I be trying to get older men to understand. Y'all had that. You had that masculine teaching that does not care about your goddamn feelings. The results got to be done, and one day as a man, you got to lead a family. So I'm not here to think about your feelings. I'm here to make you productive. Absolutely. We didn't have that. So I think honestly that is our biggest disconnection, is that y'all niggas was grabbing transmissions with your bare hands and shit. We got a transition machine to pull it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We had to do that shit. And don't think we did it gladly and you know what I'm saying? It was the whole thing was painful. We had to go do shit that we didn't want to do. You know what I mean? With the older men. My granddad used to make us pick up cans. And not saying that wasn't that's a bad thing. That's not the worst thing in the world. I'm not modern Renaissance man. Obviously picking up cans traumatized this nigga. But that was what we had to do. We jumped on the truck with my grandpa every other day, and we would go pick up cans. You know what my granddad made us do? My granddad was the candy man in the neighborhood. You know we had to go out there and help him sell candy, and we couldn't get none for free. We handling lemon heads, grape heads, apple heads. You know what know what I'm saying? We kids. Vinegar, salt, chips, all the shit that we like, pickles, all that shit. Do you know we couldn't get none of that for free? It was right in the house. Not even on a special occasion did he give us any of that for free.
Why not?
Because we could work to get it. Guess what we do? We work and go to Johnny Beckham's and buy it. We wouldn't even buy it from him. And he loved every minute of it.
Principle.
It's all about principle. It's not about any of this other. It's not about feelings. It's not about anything but principle. If you could drive home the principles, sometimes you drive those principles home with extreme prejudice. And everybody ain't gonna like it. No.
What'd you say? Extreme prejudice?
Extreme prejudice.
Break that down for me.
We handling the situation with extreme prejudice. We got to get this done, and we're gonna get this done by any means. If it means breaking your spirit, it's gonna still get done. No feelings are gonna be spared in the course of us, completing this mission.
Oh, okay. So, what I'm getting from what you're saying is, the way y'all were brought up was, nigga, this yard got to get cut. The way we were brought up is, well, you might be tired, so just cut it tomorrow.
Hell no.
No, I'm saying, but that, to me, that's what it sounds like. To me, it sounds like, because I mean, that's literally happened to me before, right? Like, I had a granddaddy that was a boomer that I had to pick up the sticks before he cut the yard. And I don't mean the big sticks. I mean all them.
All the sticks.
Yeah,
right.
All of them. So, and I hated him. It's crazy how when I got older, I wish I had a fucking listen more. But while he was alive, come on up, world class. Quit being an ugly ass nigga. Come on up. What I realized later when I got older was like, damn, he was really giving me what I needed. And I guess y'all felt that kind of same resentment, but you couldn't voice that shit because you would have got your ass slapped in the face or knocked the fuck out, and you still were gonna have to do it even after that.
Yeah, you still had to do it either way. So it didn't matter. You could do it. We could do it easy or we could do it hard.
But my mama would step in. My mama would step in like, hey, don't overwork my baby.
Bro, my mama was the one doing it to me.
Hell yeah.
Because my mama was raised by my granddaddy. That was her daddy. So she was raised with the same principle.
Okay.
So, yeah, I grew up in a single parent household. It was my mother and my grandmother, bro. Like, so I didn't have a bunch of dudes around. My grandmother and grandfather got divorced when I was 4. My granddad left the house. But when I was born, my mother and father were married. They got divorced when I was 1. My mother moved back in with her mother and father. And then my grandmother and grandfather got divorced when I was 4. Mm-hmm. So he was out the house. So yeah, like that was them that continued that. Like our big mama, you'd rather deal with any dude than our big mama. We trying to go to our uncles. So we didn't want to have to go through big mama. Now big mama was my aunt. She was my grandmother's sister. You see what I'm saying? This is how close our family was, but it was a matriarchy nonetheless.
Right.
It was a matriarchy, but these were matriarchs that had principle.
Yeah, they still had the presence of male principles, and instilled in them. So when you look at with my mom, my mother, her word was everything, but my father's word was always final. You know what I'm saying?
Say that one more time.
My mom's word was everything. My father's word was final. He had to fight. Once he said it's done, it's done. Party over with. And it was because my mother had a father also. And just like what my man was saying, my grandmother and my grandfather, my biological grandfather, they had got a divorce probably about 4 years before I was born myself. But they were married 25 years. And then her second husband, they died, they were married to death. And even with that man, he was a good man, but he was like a beta. He was very good to me and my cousins. He was very good, but he was one of those men that did everything my grandmother asked him to do. But when she got pissed off with him, she kicked him out the house. She called him, because she literally She looked at him when she got mad as the mistake that she made. She shouldn't have never, because I used to hear her say, I should never left Al, her first husband, my biological grandfather.
Damn.
And
Hold on.
Never left.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me get, cause Ted's been there. Ted's, from what you hearing from all, what you feeling from what you hearing, bro? What you thinking?
Man, honestly, I'm hearing, bro. It's my life was split in the middle between everybody here, man. Like I said, like I never got a chance to meet any of my grandfather. They were all long gone when I was born, so I never even got to see their side. But I did get to see the side of that discipline with my father. Like Big Mike said, brother, I didn't have that. Oh well, you can just cut it tomorrow. My papa like, I don't give a damn if it's 7 o'clock. You get out there and cut it because I told you to cut it at 3. You were the one that decided you were gonna play Xbox or you were gonna be on the phone, but I still need my yard cut. And it got cut. It went no middle ground. And like CJ, I use the term all the time. When something gotta get done, my pop didn't cuss, but I just added the cussing to it. This shit gotta get on the truck anyway. Cause we used to go cut wood in the wintertime. And he was like, I don't care which log you get. It all gotta go on the truck anyway. And that always been my mentality. No matter what it was, if it gotta get done, it gotta get done. The only difference is the difference between me and CJ. Like I said, bro, I didn't grow up with the we can do it tomorrow. It was always, if we are signing for the day, it's today. And I'm not letting you get off the hook because of something that your mama said. Because at the end of the day, your mama still answer to me. So if she answer to me, you damn sure gonna answer.
So here's the thing. I'm glad you said that. Because this is where I got pushback for you old niggas. I'm just playing. But this is where I got pushback. But no, this for real, because my granddaddy was a patriarch in every way, shape, and form. But when it came to his daughters, who was my mother, he was weak. Like when she said he didn't have to do this, well, goddamn it, well, fuck it, Brownie, and get his ass then. Like he ain't gonna come back over here no more. And then next weekend I'll be over here. I'm actually in the yard I used to cut right now. You know what I'm saying? So I have a little pushback because it's like a lot of these men, boomers and Gen X, let this shit go on.
Yep.
What say y'all? JT and Big Mike, the old niggas on the panel. Go ahead.
The man for having a soft spot for his daughter, bro.
Oh man.
Hey, look, I got a sister and she's the only one. She's the only girl. We know if anything happened to Pops, we gonna get orders from her, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? She getting the vet, she getting the truck. We gonna get a little money, but she getting all the material goods. You can't fault a man for having a soft spot for his daughter.
I can though when I'm the product of what y'all say is soft as hell. Because go ahead.
So this is the thing.
We get somewhere now, goddammit.
I got a soft spot for my daughters, right? But they can't disrespect me. Like my daughters they're grown now. They already know you can come, we can have conversation, all of that. And if you feel a certain way, we're gonna be able to discuss it. But if I get any disrespect, that conversation is over with. You can go and take your ass home somewhere. So I'm one of those fathers that I do anything for my girls. But one of the things I instill in them is that don't ever get me in a position where I got to go to prison or get killed. You better start paying attention to what this world is about.
Right.
You better start understanding that these guys that you out here with, you better understand that these guys should be vetted by me and your uncles and everybody. Do not sit there and instill that you know this man without bringing that man to the men in your life.
Hey.
So let me ask y'all this before Mandrell get in here. I'm gonna get you in next, Mandrell. Okay, so we talked about why my generation and younger are softer men than y'all. So we basically talked about the structure that your granddads, uncles, fathers provided to you, and you didn't. It wasn't even provision. It was dictatorship. You had to do the shit, which I think in our generation we resented because we had another option. which was our mothers. So what responsibility do you bear, or do older men bear, and allowing, and I'm talking about being around or leaving the situation, whichever one you want to choose, or both. What responsibility do the Generation X and the Boomer generation have? And I'm gonna let Mandrea respond first. And what up, my boy?
What's going on? Thank you for having me.
What up, man?
What's up, everybody? Glad to see y'all up here having this conversation. I think more people of Tez and CJ's generation and younger need to be in on this, or at least hear it.
Facts.
Because this is how the older generation is supposed to talk to the younger ones. All right, but you asked what responsibility do we have in either leaving the homes or
of us becoming the softest generation of men? What responsibility do older men bear in that?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I want to say about 30%. But the thing is, we left. But before you answer that, you can get a real answer to that question. You have to ask, why did those guys leave the situation in the first place, and why they were never there? Was it a hit and quit situation, or was he with a recalcitrant, unruly woman, a disrespectful woman, and he just couldn't take it, and he had to leave just so he didn't lose his fucking mind and create an abusive household for his child, which would have been worse. Mm-hmm. So if it's the latter, you can't really blame him for that. The woman drove him away. And probably if she's that kind of woman, she kept him away from that child. You can bet your bottom dollar. You know what I'm saying? So that's all on her in that situation. As far as the guys who hit it and quit it, it was a one-night stand or whatever, or they'll smash him for a while and just left, that's 50-50. That's on both of them. They both knew what they were doing. You know, he didn't have to leave. You know, you can't. That's a responsibility you should not be able to dodge.
Hey, Mandrea, let me push back a little bit on that part. Can I?
Go ahead.
Yeah, because honestly, man, you know how it is, bro. That hit and quit shit. When we in the midst of the whole sexual, post-sexual revolution, casual sex, casual dating, you don't want to keep everything that you fucking.
That's true.
I'm gonna be honest. Like y'all have an agreement. Hey, we're gonna have sex. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, a lot of women and men have done so much. You don't really want to keep them. That don't mean you don't want to be with them. That's the demonic part about the whole sexual revolution and the way that people have sex. So these young guys are winding up the way they're winding up because of sexual habits and patterns as well too. I had to push back a little bit on that, but go ahead, brother.
Yeah, not a problem. I mean, yeah, but the only reason why I say this is because you and the woman had an agreement and this, that, and the other, but then you fucked up. She pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now you got a whole human being you're gonna be responsible for the rest of that kid's life. I mean, the way I see it is that's not a responsibility that you should run away from. Although guys do, they shouldn't. So those guys are just as to blame as the woman is. In my eyes, not Mike. Now, granted, I get it. You don't want to keep them. But in the event that you fuck around, you fuck up and get her pregnant, you got to eat that one.
Well, this is the thing. I'm going to go.
Get a second job or something. I mean, but it depends. But it also depends on the situation, too. What kind of woman is she?
Yeah, this is the thing. So let's go with the boomers first, right? A lot of times with the boomers was that it was a lot that have to do with finances with the boomers. You know, it had a whole lot to do with finances. It had a whole lot to do with, lying, having another woman, you know what I'm saying, and not being able to be honest with the woman that you was with. The reason being is because of their parents' generation. First and foremost, the ones that was before the boomers, they had more than one family. I know in Detroit, you had a man that had a family on the east side, had a family on the west side, had a family in Toledo, Indiana, you know, depending on, you know, what they were doing. So they were, and this is older, I'm talking about the older ones, and they had wealth. They were literally taking care of these families, right? So then when it got to the boomers, though, they were still trying to hold that same structure. But the problem was that this is when the pimping came in. Everybody wanted to be, you know, a pimp. It basically, that's basically what it was. So they're the way that they were sexually, it kind of messed them up because a lot of these guys in the boomers generation was either in Vietnam or they was working in a plant. And we already know what happened with Vietnam. There was a whole bunch of guys that got killed in that. So you had a lot of single mothers just based off of Vietnam. But then you had the ones that were here or came back from Vietnam and they started working in the plants. So they had big time money. So they were still trying to do the same thing. Try to, you know, have a woman on the east side, woman on the west side. And then, you know, it just wasn't working that way because times have changed. They wasn't taking care of their families no more. These cats was going out there being loners now, rebels. You know, they had a song the Temptations came out with. Papa was a Rolling Stone. They were trying to be that guy. And then in our generation, the X generation, we had it all messed up because we were confused, just like how you guys are now. We were confused. So then we were still trying to do that whole pimp thing and trying to be a player and, you know, all of these different things. And then once we got to being adults, you know, in the mid 80s and in the 90s, you know, rap was here. So now we trying to be, you know, whatever the songs were saying, gangsters, or, you know, by the time the 90s got here, what was we trying to do? We was trying to do all kind of stuff. So we were influenced heavily. Now we're influenced by arts. We're influenced by what's happening in the streets,
MTV,
you know, all of that. And then, but mostly it still was mostly in the streets because you had a lot of cats that was out there making a little bit of money selling drugs. You know, so it was all through. You had whole families that were selling. Everybody in the families was selling drugs. So now we got a problem. Now y'all generation came,
Can I
and
ask you
now
something?
we're trying to be young and we trying to be old at the same time. So,
let me ask you something, JT. Because I've heard this from several content creators, and I got an uncle. I won't say his name because he wouldn't have liked that shit. We had to fight or something. But he harbors a lot of resentment for boomer men. Is the boomer black man the original deadbeat dad?
I don't even subscribe to that. It's an unfair thing to even give a man.
Why you say that?
Everything is circumstantial. Like I said, it's all circumstantial.
Yeah, that's why I get.
That,
And then JT, that's why I gave him the answer I gave him. It depends.
Yeah,
It depends on the scenario.
You had a lot of men that was messed up through, you know, in the boomers generation. They was messed up through just being in the military, coming back. They had psychological issues. Then they had drug issues. Then they were alcoholics. It was all kinds.
So what it sounds like to me is, based off of every angle that we've covered so far, is that black men have never really had a chance to be the good old fashioned American man consistently. That's what it sounds like.
Never. We've never had that chance. Never had the opportunity to.
Yeah.
The thing is, it basically, if you were black in America, you were before Gen X. If you're a boomer and earlier, if you're a black man, you're fucked. Bottom line, like JT said, Gen X, and I'm on the tail end of it. If you're Gen X, you're just confused. You don't know what the fuck to do. We were latchkey. We had MTV, hip hop. We saw pimps.
Yeah.
We saw drugs.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And then you saw the Cosby Show, so everybody want to go to college. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, what the hell? There was no stability there. It's just a bunch of shit, a bunch of options, and nobody knew what to do with it because our parents didn't have those options. So how could they guide us?
Hold
you
on,
know what I'm saying?
Real quick. I want to play this clip too. I think Big Mike already answered to this, but I want to see what y'all think about this clip. It says Generation X parents are just built different.
If you have a parent that's a Gen Xer, we're different. we are different. Okay? And I don't think y'all really get that. Like, I don't think y'all really understand that. Like, I don't think you understand the severity of it. Like, we're different. Like, we're not like y'all. We don't have to be social. We don't have to be social. Like, as a Gen Xer, I could love you to death and never speak to you another day in my life. We're different.
Facts.
That's a fact.
Fact.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Because I got family members like that. Like, these niggas don't see me but once a year, sometimes once every other year. But when I'm around them, it's like I saw them last week. No love lost at all. I love them just the same. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be around people to love them. No, I don't have to talk to my mom every day.
So isn't that okay? So I get that, right? I'm actually the same way. But why do you think he feels the need to tell the younger generation that? Why do you think? I know you don't know him, but why?
Because they need to know that. Let me jump in. They need to know that. I'm gonna say this straight up. If my son be on that bullshit, I'm not talking to him. Nigga, I don't fuck with your mother for a reason. And I'm not gonna continue to fuck with her through you either. I'm just not gonna do it. You either come correct or you don't come at all. Those are standards. Standards of communication. He's absolutely right on that.
Yep.
And I'll tell you this too, the thing about Generation Xers or Zennials, what I consider myself, because we know how to master the social media and all the technology you can master too. You see what I mean? We know all that shit. We were the
tweener.
We were the first ones with video games. We were the first ones with cable TV. We are the digital generation. Y'all were born into the digital generation, but we are the digital generation.
You said it already existed.
It already existed. We know it. We played Sega Genesis, Nintendo. We did all of this.
Atari 2600.
Atari 2600.
Arcades. Yeah, arcades, nigga. We invented that shit.
Yeah. So guess what? Just like the gamers nowadays could tap out, we could tap out too. We could tap out or tap in. It all depends on what you want to do. That definitely describes a generation.
And we have a different type of imagination because we were outside playing. We were the ones that we would, but this was the difference. This is why he said that we're different. We shared a lot of the things that our parents was doing too. We shared the music with our parents.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we still, if you know anybody that's in our generation, we know all our parents' music, plus the music that we had in our generation, plus y'all music. We different.
And we got respect for our parents' music.
Yeah, and we got respect
this new
so much.
Generation has no respect for our music. They don't have any respect for what we've done.
I can't argue with that.
You know what I'm saying? So like, fuck y'all niggas. I'm gonna be honest. Like, if y'all ain't got no respect, y'all keep crashing out. Y'all keep fumbling the bag by getting killed when you 30 years old or 29 years old, out here flashing in South Central Los Angeles with your chains. Yeah, we dusties, but we know how to live to be 60. You see what I'm saying? We know how to live to be 65.
And to your point, because I've talked about this is why, and I'll say names, this is why I don't rock with people like Anton, right? Because that bag mentality, and I don't know his situation, he could be lying on the internet, but a lot of the guys that have that bag mentality, not that you don't want to grind, I think two things can be true at once. So let's not y'all, but whoever's watching, let's not act like we can't get money and not put the bag above everything, right? Two things can be true. But I think that mentality definitely comes from our mothers, because what was the number one complaint from women?
Money.
Black men weren't getting money.
They ain't getting no money.
Go ahead, you got it.
And that's why they want to press a nigga for money. That's why young niggas want to press older niggas for money and all that shit. Like they mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, the bag is so far down on the list for me, which is why I get it. You see what I mean? I get the bag because the bag is in its proper perspective. The bag is like number 5 on the list. The bag isn't number 1 on the list.
Right.
We got God, family, we got self, we got all types of things that go before the bag. So when you get somebody that puts the bag above everything, they are worthless as a person, because we already know this paper money is worthless.
And again, we also know how to survive too. Like I told you, I'm in a city. I was born and raised in the inner city, and I knew how dangerous it was in the inner city. That's why I got a chance to, to survive in there. I had thug friends. But you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know that I had friends that was actually, out there in those streets and stuff like that, because I kept them at a certain,
you kept them at a certain distance. Yeah, you hung around them, but you ain't hang around them.
Yeah, I had the nerd friends. I had the dudes that was out there getting it. Like, man, I've been working since I was 8 years old. My father had a landscaping business, and I had to work. There was no, do you want to work with me? Yeah. Come on, boy, come out here and help me get this, because I was his only employee. He couldn't afford to pay anybody just starting out in the business, and he was a cab driver. So And I had to learn how to just work ethics from him. Work ethics. We wasn't no laying in the bed, and you know what I'm saying. It wasn't doing all that. It was work ethics. You don't work, you don't eat. So that was basically what it was.
So before I respond, let me get Tez in. I got something to say after that. Go ahead, Tez, if you want to get something in there.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to mention, I know, so now y'all done kind of went to the work thing, and I wanted to mention something that Mandrea said. Mandrea, don't start that, man. We having a good conversation today.
I'm going to drop your ass.
We having a good conversation today, Mandrea. Don't do it.
It's funny, though. I'm sorry.
It's hilarious, actually.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
One thing, you mentioned men running away from their responsibility, and I wanted to kind of go back on that because I didn't learn nothing about sex from my father. Like, me and my father never talked about sex. And I know some of the brothers around me, we never talked about sex with our father. If you had your father there, if you found out it was from your homeboy, it was from some you watched that you shouldn't have been watching. So do you feel like that's a huge disconnect too? Because our father, I don't know if it was a respect thing or a shielding thing, but we never talked about sex. So if you go out and make that oops, it's like, brother, why you do that? It's like, because I didn't even know. Like, I didn't even understand what I was doing.
They didn't know.
They didn't know. Okay. That's why fathers who didn't talk to their sons about sex, they didn't know what to say to you.
I'm about to flare up you old niggas arthritis in a minute.
You might. I mean, but the simple fact is, CJ, like my daddy never, and I never once talked about sex. My mama never talked to me about. Here's my sex talk. Hey, Carlos, ma'am, you having sex yet? Nope. Well, when you are, use these. She gave me a box of condoms.
Hey, that was it for me.
Carlos, did you ask? Because I'm gonna ask these young niggas. Did you approach your parents and even talk about sex?
No.
Right. Why would a parent introduce the discussion unless the child shows a curiosity?
Because for me,
you see what I'm saying? It's on the child to ask.
That makes sense.
Go ahead, Ted.
Big Mike, for me,
it doesn't make sense, but go ahead.
Big Mike, for me, is two different elements. Element number one, I grew up in church pretty much my whole life. So sex before marriage didn't even supposed to exist, even though I was one when my father had when I was born. So I mean, my father was 1 year married when I was born. So, but on top of that,
when you're married.
When my father was married, I was one. So I was already born.
Gotcha.
Come on, man. Okay. But my second thing, Big Mike, is as a youngin', you feel like that's a taboo subject. Like, how I'm approach my father about sex when that's something that I don't even feel like I should know anything about.
And we're not supposed to be doing it.
And here's the thing. Your parents messed up when they introduced you to religion. Okay, at such a young age. Wait, at such a young age.
Now he's telling the truth. Don't.
No. At such a young age,
I
don't think you should be introduced to religion until you're in your teenage years. That's you start reading about stuff like reading. That way you can read and comprehend. What's up, Savannah? That way you can read it. You actually comprehend what you're reading, and I can sit down and explain things to you in the Bible or the Quran or the Torah. You know what I mean? Whichever you're reading, or if you're reading the principles of Buddhism. Hopefully, I'm gonna introduce. If I ever have a kid, I'm gonna introduce him or her to all of it, and let them make the decision from there. Because there's good life lessons to be learned from all of it. But just the fairy tale nonsense and the doctrines and all that. No, you can do without that with life. You don't need that bullshit. In fact, that holds you back from becoming a well-rounded human being, and it keeps you ignorant. And if you're ignorant, you're easy to control. So that's what religion was originally created for anyway.
So let me
control
say
the masses.
Let me say this, right?
Yeah.
Let me put the solo camera on this handsome young man right here.
Look at his head. Ugly ass nigga. Look like an alien.
Big head, but that bitch chopped though. You hear me? Ooh.
You ain't got no hair on there.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna miss my barber when I move to Nashville. God damn.
He ain't helping you.
You gotta let the barber go. You know what I'm saying? That's rough. But look, so to your point, right? Religion can muddy the water. I can agree with you there. But here's my thing. When you talk about having a conversation with your mother and father or father or mother about sex, do you think that there's any responsibility on the mother or father to create an atmosphere where you can actually have these conversations? Because I'm going to say this. A lot of you old niggas, if it's not something you want to talk about, nigga, that could be a goddamn boot to the face.
Facts.
So I'm just saying, let's get to it.
Let me put something on this right quick. Again, I gotta say that I was fortunate to have both of my parents there. It goes to what Big Mike was just saying. You have to show the entrance, right? And one of the things that I showed was that I like women. I like girls, right? From a very young age, I liked them. I wanted to learn how to, and I had older cousins and stuff like that when I seen how they was dating fine women. So once I got to the age of me wanting to date girls, it wasn't hard. You know what I'm saying? I was one of those dudes that if I get rejected by one girl, I go to the next one. Then I go to the next one. Then I go to the next one. I never, felt bad when I got rejected. A little bit, it stung a little bit, but I always had some girl that liked me. And even if I didn't like her that much, I still was really nice to her. It was kind of like practicing, you know what I'm saying? Until I get the girl that I want. So once I got to be about 14, 15 years old, my mom and my father both, they were like, it wasn't like they were making me feel ashamed of wanting to be with a woman, right? So they welcomed me bringing my little girlfriend, bring your little girlfriends over here. We're gonna go skating, take her on a date. Let me meet her parents. So they'll meet the girl's parents or whatever. And I'll be taking her to skating. We go to the movies. I cook for her. My mama showed me how to cook. This is at 14 years old. She showed me how to cook for her. She showed me how to, you don't have her paying for nothing. You got enough money? My father used to always ask me, you got enough money? You don't want to embarrass yourself. If I know I was going on a date the next week, my father used to always say, you going on that date. You better not spend all that money nowhere else. This is what they were saying. So then once they got to the point of the whole sex thing, the first way that they approached me was just to ask me. My father was like, you having sex? Of course. I was like, no. So they didn't even go on the whole thing, whether to go into yes or no or whatever. They said, well, okay, in case you are, this is what you do. They can only give me what they know. The first thing they say, you get you some condoms. I think my father thought those probably, he was the one that was exposed me to. I already had like a condom, just before they had sold them in boxes. You could just go get one. And he gave me a box of them. And I was just like, I was kind of, I'm smiling and shy about it, but they kept talking about it. Then I had the older cousins that was also like, man, because I used to bring my girl around my whole family. If I liked her, she going around the whole family. So then now I'm having this sex talk with my uncles. I'm having it with everybody else. And they only gave me what they know. They still didn't even know enough, but they knew enough to tell me, listen, don't get her pregnant because this is what's going to happen to you. I had one uncle, he had his twin boys when he was 14. He told me that story about that. That shit scared the shit out of me.
Boss, hold on. You're long stroking, and I wanna.
I know, man.
You said. You know what I'm saying? It must be the Detroit in you. I don't know.
It is,
But look, I get all that, and see this. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't have this conversation to attack old niggas, but what I'm doing something purposely. I'm cracking the old nigga jokes and all that because I'm trying to give you a little bit of the energy that people my age and younger have towards you. because what you're saying makes sense, but it only makes sense in the world you live in. The world we live in is female dominated. Like rappers that show their cars off, show their watches off and chains. Who that's for?
That ain't nothing new though, man.
But that ain't nothing new, bro.
It's like hyper. That's
No.
World been female dominated, bro, since before we was born.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
And then niggas, right? And niggas stunting out.
Hold on.
Not bad.
I got you, Andrew. I got you. Go ahead,
Dudes always been trying to get money to impress women. That shit been going on since
I know that.
the 1900s. So you know what I mean. That's what we have to get y'all to understand. Is that y'all have nothing new is under the sun.
I knew you was finna say that shit.
That's biblical shit. That's Bible shit.
I knew that was coming. I felt
the reason your single mama don't want you to have sex with a woman and don't want to talk about it is because that woman is competition to her bag.
Yes.
She's gonna work the shit out of you. She don't need you working for another woman. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, JT. Go ahead.
No, but you got to understand this. Y'all can crack on us all day, but let me tell you what we ain't gonna be. We ain't gonna never be y'all age. Guess what y'all gonna be? Y'all gonna be our age.
One day.
You gonna be old, nigga.
Say that one more time, bro. That's a bar.
No, we never gonna be y'all age. Y'all gonna be our age. And the older you get.
Hold on real quick, because I got a question. So is there another place where the disconnect is? Is like you feel that we have the audacity to have so much of an opinion about you when you've been us before?
Facts.
And it's the same landscape. It's the same cliff.
Hold on.
So you got somebody telling you about a trail and a path through the woods that you already been down. You know what I'm saying?
Tez, what do you think about what you just heard?
Honestly, bro, it's for me, it's hard to argue with it because the older and older I'm getting, bro, the more and more my father lessons make sense. Like, bro, when you know the story about me being kicked out the house. It wasn't because I was no bum. It was because I finally stood up for myself. And he kicked me out and he straight up told me, 2 kings can't live in the castle together. Right. So you got to go. I'm like, man, you gonna put your son out? I went baby boy on him. You gonna put your son out? That man looked at me and was like, bro, you a man. Like, bro, my son, you my son.
What do you mean by that?
But he was like, yeah, bro, you gotta go. So what happened was I started to make my own way. And that's when the respect came in, because he seen that, brother, I put you out because I knew you were gonna be able to survive this. So now
was it the fact that, oh shit, he a man now? Was that what
when I got put out or after?
Yeah, when you got put out, like it's like this nigga nuts is dropped and my nuts are bigger here, so he can't be here. I'm asking the older gentleman on the panel, is that what it was?
No, what it is say you know, you're old enough, your child grows up and they're 19, 20, 21, something like that. And
hold on, how old were you, Tez, when that happened?
Man, honestly, I had been in and out the house a few times by then, like no stability. So I think I maybe 25.
Oh, nigga, hey, listen, Tez. Look, your dad was supposed to tell you to have a nice tall cup of shut the fuck up and follow the goddamn rules like you got some sense. Like, you know the rules are in that man's house.
Are y'all hearing the disconnect though?
Here's what let me finish.
It's your
show. The disconnect is this. Okay, it's only natural for the son to challenge the father. And it's the father's duty to tame the son.
Okay.
If you live in that house long enough, eventually that is going to happen. It's just nature.
Okay.
So, that's what his father's meant by, listen, bro, 2 kings can't live in one castle. That's your daddy's house. Now, if you get in there thinking you can, do whatever you want to in that man's house, he reserves the right to kick you out because that is his house. You're 25. You're supposed to have your own or be in the military or be graduating college or something. You're supposed to be at least on your way. So I mean,
go ahead. But before you go, Tez, let me address something real quick. Shout out to my guy Sir Hell, man.
Come on,
dope
man.
content creator. My brothers at the 5100 podcast. Yes, sir. So let's go ahead. Everybody want to call me while I'm doing the show. Hold on. So let's go ahead and get to the money. You know what I'm saying? A young nigga made this song. Goddamn, it was supposed to work.
You need help. You need help.
Get to that
My
money.
son
Let's get to that money. 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 Let's get to that. Ay, let's get to that money. 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 Let's get to that. Ay, let's get to that money. Let's get.
All right. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, like I said,
it was Tez.
Oh, my bad, Tez. Go ahead.
So I think, CJ, where you was going with this is kind of where I'm going, which is, so a little background. I got a brother that's older than me now. Well, he ain't older than me. I'm the oldest. But at that time, he was
older than you were then.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
He still lives with my father now. And what CJ was saying was, my father seen that in me to say, he gonna survive. So let me go get him out of here so he can see what I went through, because I know he gonna make it. Exactly. And I don't know if he has that same outlook with my other brother. I think that's what CJ is going. So my father, I didn't really challenge him. But like Mandrell said, it was a challenge because he looked at it like, bro, you don't question me, you don't ask me shit. Whatever I tell you, go.
Point where you gonna do it?
Exactly.
Right. That's what I was saying, man.
Yeah, well, but that's another case too. Like, and it seems like favoritism when a parent treats one child differently than the other. Like, maybe your father look at your brother and like, he just ain't got it. He ain't got it. But the other one, Tez, if I give him incentive. If all he needs is a good swift kick in the ass, boom, and he boots you in your ass, and that kick starts the engine.
That's a great point.
Okay. Now, you need an incentive. You need incentive to get out there and do what you are capable of because he saw it in you. Like this one, all right, he gonna be. He ain't got it, but this one over here, let me light the fire a little bit. Let me just go ahead and light this little spark, and then poof, big fire came out. Now you're married. You're a father, and look at what you're doing with the 500 podcast, and you got a job. So
let me get JT in there. He wanted to respond to what you said.
Well, one of the things that you got to understand is also parents probably won't say it, but they got favorite kids and they got kids that they know that's gonna make it, right? Again, going back to before the baby boomers, their parents had a lot of kids. And they knew exactly what was the strongest child and what was the weak child. If you got uncles that's older than you, you can see this when it comes down, like if you see the grandmother, right? Sometimes with the grandfather, they would keep that child that's not strong enough right up under that nest with them. But the one it is, they would kick them out. They'd be strong. They'd be harder on that child. They'd be harder on that. And that child, they'd be feeling like they being picked on, but it's not. It goes to what they were just saying. They see the strength in you, and all they got to do, because they want to get y'all the hell up out of there. Don't nobody want to be taking care of no grown ass people. So that's basically what it is. If you got kicked out, especially at 25, my father was at 17. My father was like, "You better find out what you about to do." And as I got older, it got harder and harder to live up under their roof. So I can just imagine trying to live up under there at 20. It been hard as hell. He been like, I've been 20 years old, and he talking about something. You got to be in the house at 12 o'clock. He would not go against that because he like, you got to get your own shit, or you go up under my rules.
JT, can you put a picture up there so they can see who you are and, you know what I'm saying, go follow you and all that shit?
I'm at work, bro. I ain't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm at the job.
Hey, brother. Hey, Tez, I say this: if you getting kicked out at 25, I just call that. I was there temporarily anyway.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You see what I'm saying? So it was really it wasn't a permanent situation for me to get kicked out of.
What about 18?
18, I went in the military. I was ready to go at 18. I didn't want to stay at 18.
Do anybody know the history of? Does anybody know the history of 18?
No.
I don't know either. I was just.
Oh, the
like,
thing
why
is,
that?
18, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's what it is. Like at 18, you're considered to be an adult, right?
Why? That's what I'm. That's why I'm.
That's just the law.
I will tell you this: the term teenager was not coined until the 1950s.
Right.
There was no such thing as a teenager. Even though you went through your teens in 1931, you were 13, nigga. You was fucking working.
Yeah. You was working. Yeah, and that's why 18. That's why the age of adulthood is so young. Is 18.
Right.
Because at 13, you was working. Like my granddaddy had he got to the third grade. He got through the third grade. Only went to the fourth, but he didn't go back to school. He had to help his family work.
He had to work.
He had to work. You know what I'm saying?
So some of what we dealing with, modern technology advancement, is that more of what? Not more. Let me not say more, but is that another part of the divide between older gentlemen and gentlemen like millennial and Generation Z? Is technological advancement a part of why we have a disconnect too?
Nah, it's not, because a man is still a man, a woman is still a woman. That's still the fundamental parts of what make us what we are still there. It's just ideology and the way the world changes. You know what I'm saying? And you either gonna change with it or you're gonna be left behind. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep up, don't step up. You'll just die.
Yeah, you either change or die. It's not even you're gonna get left behind. That's not even an option.
Right. You're gonna either keep up. If you can't keep up, don't step up. You just die. I mean, you gotta change with the world.
Tez, go ahead, bro.
So Mandrea, I think this is one of the things too, and me and CJ done talked about this. Everything that we talk about, we damn near done did a podcast episode about. And it's the older generation, CJ said it earlier, I think. The older generation looks down on us because we not taking the transmission out bare hand. We using tools to do it. And it's all, in my day, I had to do this. But if technology advances, why do you look down on me because I take advantage of the resources that's here? So why do you think that happens?
Not y'all, but a lot of people. I'm not. Right. Well, maybe y'all. Too,
I get you.
Yeah.
Well, it's not necessarily because of the tools you use. It's just your generation is largely looked upon as weak. That's because it's what we see. The way a lot of people in your generation move, it's just like, what the fuck was he thinking? Like there's a person out there in this YouTube space that moves pathetically weak.
Right.
Pathetically weak.
We're not gonna go there, but
right. We look at that kind of shit. We're like, what the actual fuck is wrong with this nigga?
Facts.
Like, who does that? You know what I'm saying? It's like so we see example after example of that, and we're just like, God damn, where do we fuck up? Is it that can't be us?
Whoa,
you know what I'm saying?
Whoa! You just said, where did you fuck up?
Yeah, we wonder that sometimes.
Not enough of y'all ask that question though, and I get it because even with Big Mike Drop, right? He mentioned to me yesterday when we were on World. Was it yesterday on World Class? I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
When we were talking about prenups, and we were talking about the responsibility of the man. Of the woman he chose. Now to even go back to the point we were talking about 30 minutes ago, where we were talking about the woman you chose to have a child with and her playing games with your child. Even though I personally believe, I don't care what kind of vetting you do, a bitch gonna do that if she gonna do that regardless. So I don't even.
You won't know until you know.
No, but
this is my future job. Hold on.
It depends on the vetting process though. But
this is what people don't understand, Mike. They think vetting is to eliminate. It's not. Vetting is to mitigate.
Right.
It is not. It is to give you a better chance when you vetting someone. That's all it is. It's not about absolutes. Nothing is absolute.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
And CJ,
but I'll say real quick, man.
Go ahead.
At this point. I'm gonna be an asshole.
I addressed him. I'm
gonna be an asshole about it. We looking down on y'all because y'all are to be looked down on. Just like we were to be looked down on by the older niggas. Younger niggas get looked down on. Sorry.
That's a good point. That's
a hierarchy.
That's a good point because I ain't gonna lie. Even when I quote the Temptations that wore the same shit Young Thug wore, but that's another story for another day. Even when I like quote them and be like, I like that music better. They be like, nigga, but you still this generation, so I'm still gonna look at you like X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying?
When it's time for the grunt work to be done, when it's time for the tables to be put up after the cookout, when it's time for the chairs to be put up, young niggas with them good backs, y'all gonna be the ones to do it. Bottom line.
Why y'all don't? It's like our back still good and you still got a history.
I'm keeping good too, nigga.
Yeah, right. But you gonna put up the goddamn chairs, nigga.
Put these damn chairs in these tables.
Hold on. Say that again.
I say I'm gonna keep my back good. If it's still good, I'm gonna keep it good because you young niggas finna put the
I gotta put in my rites of passage. I get all that.
Rites of passage. That's a great term.
Yeah, I get all that. It's just like this is my thing. Maybe I'm just emotional single mother raised bitch ass nigga. Maybe. I don't know.
No, you're not. But let me tell you this. When I went to high school, dog, it was this thing to where you knew when you were a freshman in high school, them seniors were gonna beat your ass.
I whooped a couple of them, but I get
Fresh Fridays.
We didn't whoop no seniors, but if you was a sophomore and thought you were finna fuck with us, we gonna whoop your ass.
Facts.
You feel what I'm
Especially
saying?
on football.
We gonna jump on you. But the seniors, when they did that, you know, we look forward to the day that we could do that.
Yeah.
So we took it because we knew that one day we would be the seniors and we would get to wear the young niggas' asses out when they came. It was basically hazing. You just gotta wait your turn. You have to wait your turn. There's no skipping in line. There's no special treatment.
Big Mike, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Who determines when it's our time? Do we determine it or do y'all determine it?
Our deaths determine when it's your time.
Oh shit. Hold on. Drewski, ask him what he said.
What do you mean by that?
Our deaths determine your time. Just like your deaths are going to determine your kids' time.
What do you mean by that?
So Big Mike, this one of the things that I feel what you're saying, but I also look at these things and I'm not just this Animal Planet nature guy. I do watch it and I like it.
I watch the fuck out of it.
But you see sometimes it ain't death. Sometimes it's strength. Sometimes it's I see that this person
you're not fit for this position.
Exactly. No like I gotta move you out the way. So do you think that happens with us? I think it does, because I think nature don't discriminate. I think nature gonna tell you what it is regardless of what you believe and what you do. So
that's
do you
what he
feel
mean
like
by that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's what he's saying.
But I'm gonna tell you a lot of times, let's just take the mob for instance. Say you got a young up and comer that wants to be boss. He still has to do that with the blessing of the old people. You're not gonna be able to take the elders out the picture.
Got you. Okay.
Because you got people that's ready to sit down and retire, right? We know that the leadership needs to be young and virile, right?
Hold on, Big Mike. Look at this comment.
So look.
Yeah.
You agree?
Dude, as soon as kids started having to get damn phone lines for bullies, I knew this shit was going downhill.
Bullies are supposed to be there, bro. They supposed to be there. Bullies are what tell you how strong. They tell you how strong you are. They tell
the young
you how
generation
strong you are.
never learn how to deal with the bullies.
Yeah.
Like you like literally, I got my ass whooped damn near every day by this dude. But guess what? That
you
nigga
remember his name?
Yeah, to Marcus Jackson. And that nigga was like 5'1". And I was like 5'9" in sixth grade. But guess what that nigga figured out? Every single day you fuck with me, nigga, we gonna fight.
Man, Gerald, didn't we just talk about that?
We did.
I didn't have nobody.
Every day I got my ass whooped. That dude was so tired. He was scared of me after that. He was whooping me every time. But every time we came in there, it was on. He knew it was on. We had a whole week. He said, "Man, it's a truce, bro. I don't want it. I don't want it because I would not stop."
You kept coming. You kept coming for him.
I wouldn't stop.
And that's the thing. Yeah. You keep coming to somebody. Eventually, that motherfucker gonna get tired.
That last time he went by, he almost lost.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that's when he knew. I got to get this shit up. He actually He getting ready to whoop my ass, man. I can't let that happen.
And
Truth, man, truth.
You leveling up on their ass, bro.
Right. You be leveling up, just like an RPG. You know what I'm saying? The more you fight, the stronger you get. The more XP you gain.
Okay, so how about this, right? I'm gonna wrap this up because I don't want to keep going and we start back dissing the young niggas and dissing the old niggas. So
Right.
First of all, I want to do what young niggas do. I want to be emotional for a second.
Okay.
I want to thank you, emotion. Let me thank y'all, older gentlemen, for coming on this panel. Because I'll be honest, a lot of guys won't do it, and you are the guys that I would say will make the difference. You know what I'm saying? You know, big, especially. I mean, it's not to minimize the other guys, but I think me and Big Mike got a different connection. I don't know where the fuck this came from, but I saw it yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like young line, old line having a conversation, and whatever happens in the future gonna happen in the future. But I appreciate you guys for coming because I don't do this in ill will. I don't have this conversation trying to knock you down. I actually got the up. I come from the cloth that respects the older man because I actually was raised by older gentlemen. It's just that they had their own responsibilities. So the majority of what I got was from my mother. But I got that's how I'm saying I'm giving a compliment because the strength of the man that I had in my life, the men I had in my life, damn near superseded the 75% of what I got from my mother. That 25 is kicking that 75%'s ass. So I appreciate you, brothers. But I wanted to have this conversation because I wanted you to understand the millennial, and I see that y'all kind of already do. So that was a good, eye-opening situation for me. But I just want y'all to be able to still be a man, but try your best to truly understand what we came through because we literally had a different life experience than you guys had. So that's all I want to say. I appreciate you, brothers. But I'm gonna give everybody final thoughts on this topic, and we're gonna shut it down, man, because I think this was a great call. I'm clipping the fuck out this time. But you know what I'm saying? Y'all go ahead. I'm going with Big Mike first.
Man, I appreciate you, man, for having me on. Like I said, me and you do have a special connection because I told you, me and Noble talked about this earlier. I'm like, it's just on my spirit how me and CJ wound up yesterday in this discussion. So much so that I started a Twitter space asking, are we really haters? Because I don't really want to be looked at as that. I do want to be looked at as a man that's invested in my youth. But, we're going to give you the shit. We're going to give you the shit. Y'all are us. Yeah, at the end of the day, y'all didn't just materialize out of nowhere, and neither did we. Y'all came through us, from us. So, that's my final thoughts on it, man. I appreciate you, and I enjoyed this conversation thoroughly, brother.
I appreciate you too, Big Mike, man. We definitely got to link up and do some more shows of this type of nature. We ain't got to always talk about women. We can talk about what we go through as men.
Yeah, let's work, man. Let's work. You know how to get in touch with me, so let's work.
Bet. Appreciate you, Big Mike.
Let me put my number in the private chat for you. And
okay.
Lock me in, man. And
where can they find you online?
You can find me at the Big Mike Drop online. Also, you can find me on Instagram at TBMD_show.
Bet,
so
bet.
I'm trying to get that Instagram popping. I'm trying to get my young nigga on here. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's my number in the private chat. Lock me in, CJ, man. And also you, Tez, Mandrell, you already know. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And what we know, man, appreciate all y'all, man. Great conversation.
Same here, bro.
Let me get the old niggas first so they can take their naps.
All right, man. I got an old nigga nap coming.
JT, what's up, my boy?
Hey, man, you know what it is. You know what it is, brother. My last thought, man. I'm glad we starting this out on you guys' channel. I think we need to have way more talks. I've been wanting to get guys that's you guys' ages, and I want to get them young dudes, man, on here to really have this conversation so we can powwow. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not one of those guys that's a hater. I know where you coming from with that. I know those dudes that speak to the other generation with vitriol. I've never been one of those dudes. Shit, I'm still surprised that I'm being called an old head or an elder or something like that. Shit, I think the shit came fast. But Man, look, I'm supposed to be doing one on Saturday night with Rob. I invite you brothers to come on. We're gonna have some more conversations. We're gonna get more into like the music also that influences us, all generations, and some more about the dating part too, man.
Yeah.
So we got a lot to talk about, man. So I'm glad we can't do it all in one show. So it's good that we can get these shows out here, just like what we did with the with the relationships and stuff like that, man. But I want to be able to do it a different way, man. That's basically it. So you guys can follow me on What We Know podcast, JT, Rob, Saturday night, 9:30. We're gonna be out there turning it up, and it's gonna be a Millennial X show, no doubt.
Okay.
And Z's. I welcome all.
Man, I appreciate you, JT. You know it's number love, bro.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
All right. Let me get Mandrell, the other old head in here, the craziest old head I know.
I'm not old.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, appreciate the conversation, man. These are the conversations that we need to have, honestly, and I appreciate you, having me in on it. Whenever you want to have another one, man, be sure to let me know. I'll come in and give you my 2 cents and share my knowledge and experience with you all day long. Because I think you guys really need to have it. And with it, I think guys like you two have the most potential to do the most with it, the most good with it. Like you guys would actually are two guys that I wouldn't actually mind. I don't mind teaching. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys are gonna take the knowledge and go do the right thing with it. You know what I'm saying? You're not just gonna sit there and bitch and moan about it like a lot of people in your generation. That's why we look at y'all as weak, because you're too stupid.
We don't. Hey, look, I'm gonna say this, Mandrell. We don't 100% disagree with you on that.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot out there, man. I don't say all. I'll joke and say all of them, but I'm just joking. But a lot of them out there is like, good God, we're doomed. But yeah, man, that's about it. Not much else to say. Everything's been said in the conversation, man. We just need to have more of them, because the more we talk about it, the more we're able to remember and share, and the more questions you guys have. That's why multiple conversations are necessary. And you got 3 right here, man, and you got more out here in this space that don't mind talking to you.
Facts.
So yeah.
Hey, Mandrell, I ain't never said it to you, brother, and I ain't never met you a day in my life. But I'm gonna say this: I love you, brother, for real, because I told you from the beginning, even though I give you shit for being who you are, I don't want you to change, because some of the shit you said without you even knowing inadvertently affected me and changed the way I thought, bro. So I appreciate you a lot. Specifically, I appreciate you a lot, bro.
Oh, thank you, CJ. Didn't know.
I'm always watching. I'm always listening, bro. Just know that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, I know you old niggas don't know how to deal with feelings, so it's okay.
We don't, to be honest. Yeah, thank you. That's a drawback. That's a drawback that we got. We really don't know what to do with that. Be like Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with my hands. That's confused. I love you guys too, man. And I wish I'm rooting for you guys to win and all the success in the world. I hope y'all become multimillionaires for real. Seriously, I like what y'all doing with this podcast y'all got going on. Y'all asking the right questions, and you're having all the right conversations.
I appreciate it, bro.
All right, fellas.
You, man. All right,
no problem.
All right. Get my co-host in the building, Mr. Fire. Where they go with it? Hey, man, look. You already know, bro. Go ahead. You already
Yes, sir. Man, look, I just want to say shout out to my boy, man, for sparking this conversation. Like I said, bro, it's so much stuff me and CJ say and talk about and playing behind the scenes. This was one, and reaching out to younger brothers is one. And that's going to be coming to y'all sooner than later. But I definitely want to shout my boy out for this one, man. Like I said, I was late taking care of family business. Soon as I get out here, I'm going to be back to family business. My wife also, you know how that go. But Bro, I enjoyed this conversation a lot, man, because the conversation that we had with Charleston, bro, I think it both kind of skewed our mindsets on how we looked at older men.
Mm-hmm.
But having guys like Big Mike, JT, Mandrell, even guys like Sir Hale and Black Man, maybe not Sir Hale because he just as old as me.
He younger than he look, right?
Right, exactly. But these are the type of conversations, bro, we gotta have. And I believe if we can keep these conversations going from generation to generation, we can change things.
Facts.
Like you said, bro, it might be over with for us, but I still think we can save the generation under us. I still think we might be able to steer them a little bit better than what we got. So, bro, shout out to you, man. Great conversation, bro. And I can't wait to do it again.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, my boy. I'm gonna go and wrap this shit up. I'm gonna get my final thoughts and I'm gonna get up out of here.
All right, bro.
Much love, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now y'all gotta look at my big handsome ass head, right? I posed this conversation because it was in my spirit. You feel me? Shout out to Angry Man, because I've heard him say, you know, I've listened to Angry Man since about 2016, 2017. That's when I caught on to him. And I understand his position. And I want y'all to understand that I'm not trying to go to war with the men that's been through wars many times. I'm just trying to understand the concept, the layout, the strategies of war, so I can be a better general. Because it's almost my time. I'm unc now. I'm 30. I got people calling me uncle. You feel me? I got people calling me daddy. I'm not a young dude no more. So I gotta have this conversation, and I can't do it in a way that favors one or the other. I come from a certain position of a younger man, but I want to live to be an older man. That's why I wanted to have Big Mike. I'm so glad Big Mike came through, because me and him had the conversation yesterday where I could tell there was a connection between me and him. Me and him actually got to a place. I just had to leave the conversation because I had something else to do. But I wasn't going to let that just sit there. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Big Mike. I got a number of respect for you, brother. And I appreciate what you do. I appreciate the things you put me on to. I've only known you for like a month. You know what I'm saying? So you've already changed my perspective when it comes to us as men and women, you know, in relationships. So you're much appreciated. Don't ever think that when I come at you with that heat, I'm only coming at you with that heat because I come a little bit. I got about 35, 40% of what you was raised with. So it's in me. So I'm gonna come with 5. You feel me? That's all I know how to do. So, you know, for the gentlemen, young men, young women, but specifically young men, I'm bridging this gap. I'm bridging this gap because it has to be bridged. It can't be done by anybody else but us, old and young. You know what I'm saying? And I want to get our community to a better place where we can actually thrive and take this shit over like we're supposed to. A lot of people don't look at the black community as a community. A lot of people don't look at it as something to be saved. I don't have that perspective because my uncle saved me. You know what I'm saying? My pop saved me. And there's a young boy my age getting into the same shit. Y'all got to understand, nigga, I got shot at when I was 13. I got shooting when I was 14, 15. I fought all my life. And I'm just trying to create a different path for younger men coming up in the same situations. You know what I'm saying? So salute to Big Mike again. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Steel sharpens steel. And I'm just a younger, more vibrant version of steel. You know what I'm saying? But I still got to be molded. I still got to be sharpened. So the work got to get done. I'm not leaving my woman, my black woman, for no other woman. And I don't mind anybody else that do it. But for me, I'm trying to fix shit. You know what I'm saying? Call me Bob the Builder around this bitch. I'm actually trying to fix shit. I'm actually trying to see us get to a different level. Because I know once we do, can't nobody fuck with us. You feel me? So look, On that note, I'm gonna wrap this thing up. So for your guy CJ100, 50% of the 5100 podcast, I am gone. You dig.
Two G's.
And shout out to you, baby. Shout out to you.